A look at SEC all-time receiving leader Jordan Matthews. He'll lead the Vanderbilt Commodores into their third straight bowl appearance versus a program that is on the rise, the Houston Cougars and redshirt freshman John O'Korn. It's all coming up next in the BBVA Compass Bowl from Birmingham, Alabama. And welcome to the BBVA Compass Bowl. As we are in the heart of college football in the South, Birmingham, Alabama, historic Legion Field, where today the 8-4 Commodores out of the SEC and the 8-4 Cougars out of the American coming your way as we are getting set for some football on this January 4th. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dave Neal. You might recognize this man, Andre Ware, the Heisman Trophy winner. Glad you could join us. Dawn Davenport is down the sidelines. We'll check in with her in just a moment. But, Andre, we've had a ton of football games, but I think this particular game has kind of flown under the radar. As we've looked at this game the last couple of days, this is an interesting, dynamic matchup.
Yeah, two really good head coaches, solid in building their programs. And then two teams, they go about it a little differently, Dave. Vanderbilt, they want to run the football, be physical in the offensive, defensive lines. And then the Cougars, they're going to throw it around, maybe throw it 50, 60 times today.
Well, speaking of throwing it around, when Vanderbilt has thrown the football around, they have certainly thrown to one of the best, at least statistically, the best in the history of the SEC. And Jordan Matthews, few have done it like this young man has.
Yeah, he's a dynamic playmaker for Vanderbilt. A lot of teams have had, questions about how they're going to stop Jordan Matthews. The route running of Jordan Matthews knows how to get himself open. He's a big physical receiver as well and makes some tough catches. After the catch, he'll dish out the punishment, the physical end of it. Then the hands. Love receivers that catch the football away from their bodies, and then they can do something after it. He is tough as well. He will take shots throughout ball games and then get up just like this and come back for some more, and then clutch when his team needs him most. In the biggest parts of a football game, Jordan Matthews seems to make play after play.
Well, he has 8 100-yard games this year, 107 receptions on the year. That leads the SEC 6th in the FBS. His numbers are just staggering. But there will be a new guy throwing him the football, relatively a new guy. And for more on the quarterback situation for the Commodores, let's go downstairs, check in with Dawn.
Yeah, that's right. Austin Carter-Samuels has been the guy for the Doors, but he tore his ACL in week 7, had it surgically repaired 23 days ago. That means that redshirt freshman Patton Robinette gets his 3rd start of the season. Now, Carter-Samuels did play through his injury the last 3 games of the year, and head coach James Franklin said that was huge for Patton to kind of ease into this situation. Carter-Samuels has been instrumental in his development. I saw it in warm-ups. You guys are going to see it during the game. He's going to be the first guy that Patton comes to when he comes off the field. Austin said they'll go over protections. They'll talk about what they both saw. Guys, he's really helping to take the pressure off of this young quarterback.
All right, thank you, Dawn. We'll keep an eye on that throughout the afternoon. And speaking of quarterbacks that get some work because of an injury, you turn to Houston. They're going with a true freshman, John O'Korn, and he has not disappointed since they've turned the football over to him.
No, he hasn't. He's a good young talent, Dave, that the nation's going to get a chance to take a look at today. You look at him, I mean, he can sling the football around. 26 touchdown passes, only 8 interceptions. He's got stuff that the coaches can't teach. You'll see him today throw it around. He throws one of the prettiest balls that you'll ever see.
Houston scoring 34 points per game. The Commodores will try to slow them down. It's the BBVA Compass Bowl from Birmingham. We'll have the kickoff when we come back. Boy, a lot of black and gold on the far side here at Legion Field in Birmingham. Vanderbilt and Houston, a couple of 8-4 clubs here in the BBVA Compass Bowl. Andre, let's take a look at your keys to this one for both clubs.
Yeah, it's kind of easy for Vanderbilt. They want to establish the run. They want to come right at the Cougars' defensive line and move the football, control the line of scrimmage as well. Defensively, they've got to handle the tempo. U of H, they're going to go fast. Then for the Cougars, stay out of 3rd and long. That's where Vanderbilt will try to really come after young John O'Korn and then eliminate the explosive plays that have Jordan Matthews making big ones down the field.
Well, Vanderbilt won the toss. They decide they want the football first, and they will get it. Houston will kick it off. Richie Leone will have the honors for the Cougars, who finished up 5-3 in the American Athletic Conference. It's a line drive kick that will sail a few yards deep in the end zone, and Darius Sims, the true freshman, will take a knee. So out to the 25-yard line we will go, and a chance for us to look at this Vanderbilt offense to start this game that scores 29 points a game. That is 9th in the SEC. But Patton Robinette is a guy that we have seen a couple of times this year, Andre, and he's kind of a multi-dimensional guy. Can run it, can throw it a little bit, but I think his best asset is his ability to run the football right now.
I think the thing you admire about him is his confidence. When he got a chance to go back to the bench when Austin Carter-Samuels was back as the starter those 3 games, his confidence really grew. We saw him in his first start against Texas A&M, and then later in the year he looked like a totally different player.
He'll line up in that shotgun formation to start this game. He'll roll right and throw on play number 1, and why not go to 87? Jordan Matthews now with 108 catches on the year, and give him 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Right away, there's really no answer in terms of stopping Jordan Matthews. He's going to get his. You just have to figure out a way to control him. You'll look up and quietly he'll be over 100 yards receiving on a couple of catches, but they do a nice job of moving Jordan Matthews around where you can't really get a beeline on him or double cover.
Vanderbilt's going to have to protect the football. The best team in the country. Turnover margin is Houston at +25. Here is Seymour. He gets a first down over the 35 to the 37. That's a 10-yard pickup, and Seymour missed the season finale, but he looks 100% healthy after that carry. As we look at our impact players, brought to you by Bell.
Yeah, it's Jerron Seymour. They want to run the football. He's the first of 3 backs that we'll see. Keep an eye on Jonathan Krause as well, opposite Jordan Matthews, their speed receiver. Joey Mbu, he'll have to defend the run, as well as Tavon Stewart, a playmaker on the back end for the Cougars.
On 1st and 10 from close to the 40-yard line. Handoff off the right side goes to Seymour, the team's leading rusher. The only player on this Vanderbilt team with a 100-yard rushing game, had 107 against Alabama Birmingham. So 3 straight passes for the Cougars, backed up inside their 20. Now they're forced to punt.
Yeah, Ayers is their speed receiver, their vertical threat, and a guy that can stretch the field. Just a little bit overthrown, maybe a little bit too excited to start this bowl game. John O'Korn early here for the Cougars.
So one of the best in the country, Richie Leone, will punt it away. The senior out of Roswell, Georgia. 3-time Ray Guy Award semifinalist, averaging 43 yards per punt. That will hit it at the 40 and take a Cougar bounce inside the 30 down to the 27-yard line, and that is where Vanderbilt will begin their second possession of the afternoon after a 55-yard punt. We are scoreless here in Birmingham. Back in a moment. Good look at Legion Field. Downtown Birmingham off in the distance here at the BBVA Compass Bowl. And for Vanderbilt, this is a club that got off to a disappointing start. They had a chance to take down Ole Miss in the opener on national television. That didn't work. Lost to South Carolina. Got hammered by Missouri. Tell you what, folks are starting to scratch their head about the Commodores. But hold on a minute, because Vanderbilt turned the page. They would go on to beat teams like Georgia, Florida, Tennessee. First time ever they've done that in the same season. They would win their final 4 games of the season to finish up 8-4. They would go 4th in the SEC Eastern Division. And when you start to think about the numbers that James Franklin has been able to accomplish here, Andre, it is quite amazing. They are looking for their second straight 9-win season if they can win here. Never been done in the history of this program before.
Well, he's just a good, solid football coach, a disciplined coach. They're not going to beat themselves.
On first down and 10. Here's Seymour, breaks one tackle, dancing around, slides his way out to the 32-yard line. Give him a gain of 6 on the play. But to finish that up, also this bowl game. They went to 4 bowl games in 120 years prior to James Franklin coming on as head coach. They have now been to 3 consecutive bowl games. You know,
it's impressive. And you know, you look at it, replacing players, inheriting players, and he just got them to believe in what he was doing. And now it's just kind of second nature. They expect to go to bowl games under James Franklin.
Houston might have forced the issue a little bit. Joey Mbu, the defensive tackle, may have come across the line. We'll see what the call is here.
Offsides, number 92 of the defense. 5-yard penalty, result in a first down.
Mbu's a guy I thought had to have a big game for the Cougars in the trenches, because he's going to see a lot of runs come his way throughout this ball game as Vanderbilt tries to establish the line of scrimmage.
Mbu with 27 tackles up front for the Cougars. That leads all their defensive linemen. Here goes Seymour. He spins forward to the 43-yard line. That'll be a gain of 5 on first down. So good play call here. And I think today we've got a look, Andre, at a couple of really good young coaches, and James Franklin and Tony Levine on the other side, who's taken this Houston team to a bowl game in their second season. Here's Patton Robinette. Pass is caught at the Cougar 45-yard line. That'll be a first down.
Yeah, good job by Jonathan Krause, who is one of our impact players. Felt like Jordan Matthews going to get a lot of attention. This could be an opportunity for Jonathan Krause, their speed guy, who can really get down the field, to have a big day against this Cougar secondary.
So another first down for the Commodores. And some more movement up front. This time Vanderbilt will back up 5 yards.
Number 53 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Left guard Jake Bernstein, you're going to see him right to the top of your screen. Just a little bit of a flinch. That's close, touchy. I mean,
sensitive.
A little bit.
Sensitive here in Birmingham. To the wide side. Here's Matthews, gets a great block down the far sideline to the 10. Give him 6. 50 yards.
Boy, the reason why Jordan Matthews is so electric, because you have a bunch of unselfish teammates. Jonathan Krause, watch number 17. Just throw the block that takes out a defender to allow Jordan Matthews to get to the end zone. It was Thomas Bates who Krause threw the block on to free up Jordan Matthews. Dave, teams try everything to stop him. And you just can't do it.
That's his first touchdown reception, though, in 5 games. Here's the point after attempt from Kerry Spear. And he knocks it through the uprights. So the second possession, very effective for the Commodores. as they strike first here at the BBVA Compass Bowl. Jordan Matthews doing what he does, catching footballs. Back in a moment. Back in Birmingham, Legion Field, BBVA Compass Bowl, where Vanderbilt 50-yard touchdown pass from Patton Robinette to Jordan Matthews has given the Doors this 7-0 lead. There is Jordan, and the records continue to fall. He has just had one dynamite career. He has 3 SEC records: receptions, yards, 100-yard games in a career with 18. Single season records, or the 109 receptions now on the year.
Back-to-back 2 years, last year and this season, all SEC and an All-American first team in a lot of publications.
Here's the kick to the goal line. Goes to DeMarcus Ayers. He's out to the 23-yard line. And speaking of Jordan Matthews, let's go back to that last touchdown.
Let's take a look. Watch the block of Jonathan Krause, number 17, right here as he works out on the corner to that side, Thomas Bates. Just keep an eye on the block. This is what's going to free up Jordan Matthews. The unselfish play of Jonathan Krause showing itself again, and then the speed of Matthews to get to the end zone. Boy, that's a good job of teamwork and an unselfish play by a guy that plays opposite the much heralded Jordan Matthews.
Boy, they're going to be missed in Nashville. Both those guys, Krause and Matthews, are seniors. Now let's see what Houston can do here. 3 and out on their first possession. O'Corn threw on all 3 plays. This time he completes the pass out to the 30-yard line. It goes to Deontay Greenberry, the team's leading receiver. That's a gain of 7.
Well, here's that tempo. We talked to Tony Levine. They want to go fast, faster than they've ever gone this season.
Ryan Jackson in the backfield. They'll fake it to him, come near side. Well read by Vanderbilt. Andre Howe with the play on Daniel Spencer, a loss of a yard.
Yeah, Spencer's going to play a big role in this game. They like to move him around, get him in space, and just try to find ways to get him the football. But an excellent tackle by Howe.
3rd down and 3 from the 30-yard line. They'll hand it off left side. Jackson bouncing off a couple of guys. He might be about a yard shy of the first down.
I think he's going to be just short of it. And a couple of Vanderbilt defenders had their hands around him early. You see the hole there, but unable to hold off the block or the tackle. And we will see Ladler come in to finish this thing off. Their leading tackler and a playmaker from the back end. Boy, is he a solid football player. I think we're going to watch Ladler play on Sundays next year.
88 stops on the year for Kenny Ladler. Houston will punt it away again. First punt traveled 55 yards. Another spiral. Fair catch called for by Jonathan Krause. A 44-yard punt, and the Commodores will have the football again. And Jordan Matthews back on the field. Back to Birmingham in a moment.
The 2014 BBVA Compass Bowl is brought to you by BBVA Compass. Bank like a real fan. BBVA Compass. Chili's. More life happens here. And Allstate. Are you in good hands?
Good look at the Vulcan statue, which is the largest cast iron statue in the world and is the city symbol of Birmingham, reflecting its roots, of course, in the iron and steel industry. There you go, Andre, your history lesson for the day. Or the year.
Yeah.
Or the year. That's it.
First thing you taught me all year.
Yeah. You look at Birmingham and Legion Field. Boy, they played the Iron Bowl here so many years before they went back to campuses back in the early 90s. Matter of fact, Vanderbilt actually played here back in 2000 against Alabama. Last trip for the Commodores to Legion Field. Patton Robinette will throw it, and he will throw it out of bounds, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
They're trying to find Jordan Matthews with Jonathan Krause clearing things out deep. He's just kind of been out of sync. That quick screen out to Jordan Matthews has been about it for Patton Robinette. Kind of struggling in the passing game to establish just some rhythm and get his footing under it.
Once again, Austin Carter-Samuels had knee surgery at the end of the regular season and not playing today because of that. So the redshirt freshman Patton Robinette getting the work. Wesley Tate on that carry picks up a couple of yards.
Yeah, Vanderbilt continuing to go to that left side of the offensive line where the best player up front, Wesley Johnson, lives at left tackle. Jake Bernstein at left guard. Two pretty good ones.
So Austin Carter-Samuels with the signals in to his quarterback friend Patton Robinette out of the shotgun on 3rd down, and let's call it 8 from the 26.5-yard line. 4-man rush. Robinette hit as he throws, incomplete, coming near side, looking for Stephen Shoy, the tight end, but good pressure from Joey Mbu, who laid the wood to Robinette.
Watch Mbu here on a pass rush, just a bull rush, able to swim at the end of it and then affect the throw of Patton Robinette. There's a reason why we pick these impact players. It's just not by chance. I know you think that.
Did you see that quickness by Mbu just in on the side? Look at
just showing his teammates, hey, I did it just like this. Well, he's a good player. 6'3", 312 pounds from Richmond, Texas.
Colby Cook will put it away for the Commodores. Fair catch called for by Greg Ward Jr. A 50-yard punt, but a flag down back at the 32-yard line. We'll wait for this flag. Cougars had to punt on their first 2 possessions. See if they can't get something cranked up here offensively for a team that came in here scoring some.
After the play, personal foul. Number 25 of the receiving team. At the distance to the goal. 1st down.
So this offense will be backed up, averaging 34 points a game. Trailing by 7 here in the 1st quarter. Back in a moment. A lot of Commodores made their way to Birmingham as their team leads 7-0 over Houston. As we take a look at our impact players, brought to you by Belk.
For the Cougars, Greg Ward, they're going to move him everywhere, and he'll line up all over the field, including quarterback in some of their packages. Daniel Spencer's a guy they just have to get the football to, dynamic in space. Better have a pass rusher if you're going to play the Cougars, because they're going to throw it. And Walker May's the best that Vanderbilt has, and we've already heard from Kenny Ladler, the team's leading tackler and a leader on the back end.
First 2 drives for Houston, 6 plays, 9 yards, a couple of 3-and-outs. They will run the football with Kenneth Farrow dancing around, the former defensive back. Some nifty footwork out to the 20, give him 7.5, maybe 8 yards when it's all said and done.
Interesting story. Came to school as a defensive back. They were loaded at running back, and all of a sudden, a graduation, a couple of transfers, they needed a running back and able to shift Farrow back there, and he's been pretty good for him this year.
Averaging over 5 yards a carry with 5 touchdowns on the year. Here comes Spencer out to the near side. They will hand it off again. This one, Farrow will get close to the 1st down. Give him a couple on the play. That
they're just trying to settle a young quarterback and John O'Corn in. They had 9 yards of total offense before this drive.
Tony Levine, 2nd year as the Cougars head coach, on the sidelines, looking for their first down of the game. They may not get it. What a hit. Farrow hit by Chase Gardam. Did the second effort give it to him? No, they're going to say he lost a yard. Chase Gardam, the senior out of Fairhope, Alabama.
Yeah, and you got to punt the football here if you're Tony Levine, but watch 36 come in and then redirect Kenneth Farrow, and that's kind of his game. I felt like Chase Gardam wouldn't have a big impact because the middle linebacker working against slot receivers or this type of offense, really fish out of water. But when you get in short yardage situations like that, that's when a guy like Chase Gardam can make an impact.
Well, had a foot problem, missed the first half of the season. Glad to have him back. Leon to punt it away again. A wobbly kick. This is taken by Kraus on the run. He's to the 45-yard line and knocked out of bounds there. A 39-yard punt. Well, it's #1 Florida State versus #2 Auburn in the Vizio BCS National Championship. The Seminoles look to complete their undefeated season and claim their first title since '99, while the Tigers aim to finish their remarkable ride by raising that crystal ball. Watch the Vizio BCS National Championship 8 different ways across the ESPN networks with the BCS Megacast. Coverage begins Monday at 8 on ESPN. For all the ways to watch, visit ESPN.com/Megacast.
I have felt Florida State coming from last season, but at Auburn, what a job Gus Malzahn has done in just one season.
Handoff goes to Kimbrough, and he is stuffed. No gain on the play. Well, you look at the last 7 BCS national champions, and of course this being the final year of the BCS game. The SEC trying to make it 8 straight.
I think you really have to credit their athletic director at Auburn, Jay Jacobs, who we know. But the hiring of Gus Malzahn to recognize the type of talent that you'd recruited to the last couple of years to bring him back, and all those kids knew him, and they responded this year, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a national championship game.
Robinette into Cougar territory at the 48, a gain of 7. That'll bring up a 3rd down and relatively short. Stephen Taylor and Ephraim Oliphant combined for that tackle for Houston. A defense that certainly made some strides under David Gibbs, first-year defensive coordinator, but a long-time college and NFL coach has taken this club. They're only giving up 20 points a game. That is 16th in the country.
Well, they will force turnovers, and 17 different players have forced turnovers for this Cougar defense this season.
Plus 25 in the turnover margin. Could use one here. High throw through the hands of Matthews.
It's going to be a situation where James Franklin will entertain going for it here on 4th down. Yet to send the punting unit on a little bit late and finally going to decide to punt. But Patton Robinette has not settled into this game yet, and he's getting an earful from his coach about just relax and play, pressing a little bit early here in this ball game.
So Cook will punt it away. The redshirt freshman out of Virginia. Trying to pooch one down where Greg Ward stands around the 10. This takes a tough bounce. Is it saved? They're going to say touchback by inches. We'll step aside for a moment. You be the judge. Good effort regardless.
Around here, you're walking in the footsteps of people who've made a difference. Game changers, scholars, philosophers, those relentless people who never stop asking why. The ones who had the gall to think they could change the world, and the guts to prove they were right. Choose your path. Choose Vanderbilt.
Cougars trailing by 7, but they do have the football. Tony Levine, a 1996 graduate of the University of Minnesota, 2nd year at the helm of the Cougar program, and it guided them to a nice 8-4 record this year, 5-3 in the American. And they have almost everybody coming back next year. Here comes some pressure. O'Korn dropped, loss of 2 on the play.
Yeah, Stephen Weatherly, the defensive end, off the edge, he's an excellent pass rusher who's really still kind of learning to play the run, but this is why he can have an effect. You've got a passing offense. He's a guy that can just pin his ears back and come after the quarterback.
4-man look up front for the Commodores. Cougars will swing it, little wide receiver screen, and tell you what, that is how you play some defense. Greg Ward had the football, bobbled it, hit by Chase Garnham, and they'll say Vanderbilt has it.
Well, Garnham shows up in an ugly way. Well, he provides a comfort level for the coaches, and they try to run that little tunnel screen to Ward. And just watch the play of number 36, Chase Garnham. Watch him react. Excuse me, this is the other linebacker. Watch him right here react to it, come up, ball's out, and a bunch of Vanderbilt players around it. That's 2 big-time hits put on by Chase Garnham. And you know, Dave, when he's on the field, because of personnel, as a quarterback, if you're keeping a linebacker in like that, you're not expecting any man-to-man type coverages. It's mostly zone defense because he can't stay with the Cougar slot receivers. But, boy, has he had an effect the last couple of downs.
Back in his home state, Chase Garnham, the senior, 6'3", 235. That fumble recovered by Andrew Williamson. That is the 12th fumble gained by the Commodores. So Wildcat formation. Seymour looking for a little bit of room to run off the left side. He will pick up a couple of yards before he is brought down by Eric Braswell.
Well, nice job by Braswell to bring him down, because it looked like Stephen Shoy, the tight end, had opened up a pretty good hole along that left side.
Boy, this Houston defense put in a tough situation here. Second down at 7. 3 minutes to go, opening quarter. Vanderbilt scored on a 50-yard touchdown pass. Seymour inside the 10, down to the 8. Trayvon Stewart, the safety, with now 100 tackles this season.
They continue, Dave, to go to the left side. I don't know that Vanderbilt's had a run to go right yet with Seymour. They've gone left behind Johnson and Bernstein, and that's where they're really making their living. There's something in film study to that side of the defensive line. They like it, and they like the matchup, which is why they continually go there in the running game.
Third down and 2. Vandy's yet to convert a third down. They'll have to wait a moment here because James Franklin sprints down the sidelines, gets a timeout called.
No coach could move like that.
Showing you a little skill. And he is a frustrated man hitting that play card. But James Franklin, he has been certainly his name mentioned quite a few times for job openings around the country. And you know, he's really stayed focused. He hasn't really addressed it other than to say how much he loves being around Vanderbilt, loves what the program is headed.
Well, not just college jobs, NFL jobs along with it. So, I mean, he has got an excellent resume. He's contagious is the word I would use to describe James Franklin. When you're around him, you just believe in whatever it is he's selling because he's so passionate about this Vanderbilt program. Get out. Go meet students, go sit down and eat with them, try to convince them to come to a couple of games on campus. And I tell you what, he's hard working, that's for sure.
Out of the shotgun, little fake toss. Seymour keeps it, spins left. Well played by Houston. Nothing doing. Derek Matthews, the leader of that defense, with a huge play on third down and 2, comes up with his 111th tackle of the year.
He's thinking about going for it here. Just a little counter play where he fakes it to Patton Robinette. You see the tackle pull, they kick out, and he takes that one step, and it's a counter move right here to come back, get the defense flowing one way. He's going to run opposite. Nice job by the Cougars staying at home and defending the run.
Got to get it inside the 6-yard line. Couple of tight ends. Robinette back in at quarterback. He will keep it off the left side. First down and a whole lot more. A little zone read from 12 yards out, and on 4th and 2, he picks up 12 and 6.
Well, that's what he was doing when Austin Carter-Samuels came back as the team's starting quarterback. That's the role they used him in, kind of short yardage. Whenever they wanted to run the football with the quarterback, that was Patton Robinette's job, and he's got pretty good at doing that.
Gary Spear will attempt the point after out of the hold of Taylor Hudson. And he will split the upright. Vandy has now converted 7 straight 4th downs this season. This was 4th and 2. And the redshirt freshman hits pay dirt. Patton Robinette with the touchdown run. That is his 7th rushing touchdown of the year. Let's take another look at it.
Well, nice job of blocking up front. Watch Joe Townsend, the center. He's going to come around and kick out. Then you get Wesley Johnson coming down with a seal block. So down and around, and watch the block by Townsend. He kicks out. That affects a nice block inside as well by Spencer Pulley, the right guard, to finish things off and make it easy for Patton Robinette.
14-0 first quarter football.
What a start for Vanderbilt.
And a touchback will bring it out to the 25-yard line. Houston has got to get some first downs. Well, down on the sidelines is Dawn Davenport this afternoon. Let's visit with her. Dawn?
Yeah, guys, watching Houston over here on the sideline. Offensive coordinator Travis Bush told us that you could see his team mature throughout the year, and really you see the maturity over there on the sideline. No panic whatsoever, and that's led by, of course, the true freshman John O'Korn. Just told his O-line he was really animated with him, but he just said, guys, I need you. Let's go. Let's get this done. I watched him earlier this year. He was so poised then. Couldn't believe he was a freshman, and now in adversity, even more poised. It's pretty amazing.
Well,
got to get this engine revved up and going.
Yeah, they need some first downs. They got to keep their defense off the field. They've been on the field almost the entire first quarter. 1:33 to go here in the first frame. 4-man look for Vanderbilt. Wide side throw, a little short arm by Daniel Spencer.
Here's what needs to happen right now with John O'Korn. You need some easy throws, and they've got a defender, and that's Carl Butler, and he is big for Vanderbilt's defense. Well, they could ill afford to lose him, but you've got to get O'Korn some easy throws. He needs a couple of completions in a row. And the guy circled at the top, that's where you want to go. Just give him an easy throw to start some completions. Let's take a look at what happened to Butler coming up to make a play on Daniel Spencer. It's like his foot just kind of caught the turf.
Boy, Butler, the senior out of New Orleans, kind of one of those hybrid 6'1", 215-pound guys you can play as a safety.
Yeah, he was the spy earlier in the year when they played Texas A&M, and the dynamic running ability of Johnny Manziel. He had that chore that day, but he's a versatile player, great athletic ability. They moved him down from safety to that hybrid outside linebacker spot. Good size at 6'1", 216.
Well, we'll step aside for a moment while they continue to work on Mr. Butler. Back in a moment. There's Carl Butler, got up, walked off the field under his own power, albeit with a little bit of a limp. They will continue to work on him. I'm sure Dawn will get us an update as soon as she is able to grab one from that Vanderbilt medical staff. 2nd down and 10 coming up. Ryan Jackson in at running back. O'Korn trying to set up a little screen, and he is just not in sync. I mean, he has missed badly on 3 or 4 throws here in the first quarter.
That's and partly the pressure he's getting from this Vanderbilt defense. Screen pass, you're trying to just get him started. And I understand exactly what Travis Bush, the offensive coordinator, is trying to do. An easy throw just to get some footing under him, but unable to do so here early.
3rd down and 10 coming up. Here comes some heat. O'Korn feels it, trying to run for it. To the 30, stays in bounds. Did he get it? Let's see where they spot it. They will give it to him at the 36-yard line.
Looks like he may have stepped out of bounds.
Oh, yeah, they're going to back it up.
32 or so. And it's going to be 4th down. I think he thought he had it as well. And now the Cougars sending the punting unit on the field. You see right here, keep an eye. There's the foot out around right where the official came with a spot, the line judge. Jordan O'Korn now in this game, 3 of 8 for just 5 yards. Fourth
down and 3. Punt team on the field. And a whistle will stop the play and delay of game against the Cougars.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Well, what the mix-up was, the punting unit was out there with plenty of time to get the ball snapped and punted away. But Vanderbilt going to have some excellent field position here.
Jonathan Krause stands back to return this punt. Line drive wobbly kick that will hit at the 40. And it will die down around the 33-yard line with 30 seconds, I think 28 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Watch #1 Florida State take on #2 Auburn 8 different ways with the BCS MegaCast. Monday starting at 8 p.m. we'll cover the Vizio BCS National Championship game from every angle across the ESPN networks. While traditional game coverage can be found on ESPN, ESPN2 will host BCS Title Talk, where analysts break down the game with celebrity guests. On ESPN News, it's the BCS Film Room. And to hear the sideline sounds of the game, turn on ESPN Classic. For all the ways to watch, visit ESPN.com/megacast. Once again, coverage 8 o'clock. Toss sweep, Kimbrough. Still on his feet, gets a couple of yards out of it on the far sideline. But once again, Andre, we're watching Vanderbilt just hammer that left side of their offensive line.
Yeah, and that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to execute in the run game, establish the line of scrimmage, and it's just been left. Finally, a run to the right here.
Toss sweep to Kimbrough, and no gain on the play. Maybe that's why they're not running to that side. And that'll do it for the first 15 minutes. And for James Franklin, he's got to be ecstatic with the way his club has come to play on both sides of the football. Their 3rd consecutive bowl trip. They lead at 14-0 over the Cougars. Historic Legion Field, 15 minutes are in the book in the BBVA Compass Bowl. Vanderbilt with an outstanding first quarter, lead at 14-0. Dave Neal back alongside Andre Ware. And Andre, that was all Vanderbilt, but from a Houston perspective, how do you try to get yourself back into this?
Well, you've got to get your young quarterback some solid footing, some easy throws, completions to kind of get him started. And then I think the running game could help out as well. Kenneth Farrell, and one possession in there, seemed to get the Cougars moving offensively, but they have got to do something to generate some offense.
Yeah, only 1 first down for the Cougars so far, and now their defense back on the field. The defense that spent most of the first quarter out on the field. Patton Robinette in shotgun formation. Pass caught by Matthews, not much working on 3rd down. Probably got back to the line of scrimmage where they'll mark it. Steve Taylor with an outstanding play, and that'll bring up a 4th down, and good hold by the Cougars defensively.
Well, I'll tell you what, Taylor, when you turn the film on, he really flashes. They'll line him up in the middle, all over the place. Outside, he's a good outside edge rusher and tackles well in space. 5 tackles already in this ball game for Stephen Taylor.
Colby Cook will punt it away. Greg Ward Jr. calls for a fair catch. He will take it at the 15-yard line. And this Houston offense will be back on the field. A club that averages 422 yards of offense, 34 points a game. But right now they have been held to just 21 total yards and 1 first down. And John O'Korn needs to get it going. Just 3 of 8, 5 yards throwing the football. And that's what they like to do.
Yeah, new play caller today in today's game. Doug Meacham took a job. Their offensive coordinator moved on to TCU. And Travis Bush, now the play caller and the offensive coordinator for John O'Korn, who they have a solid relationship and really understands one another. That's what you need from quarterback to offensive coordinator.
Little play fake. Pass dropped. There you go. Good throw by O'Korn. That time just couldn't be corralled by Larry McDuffie, the sophomore. There is Travis Bush calling the plays today. Actually called him last year a little bit. There were some changes in the staff a year ago in the first year for Tony Levine. Travis was the play caller then. Second down and 10. 3 receivers on the near side. It's a 4-receiver look. Pressure comes. O'Korn just has to eat the football inside the 10. That's a loss of 6. Baron Dixon with the sack.
Yeah, when you don't have success on first down, you're going to see some pressure from Bob Shoop, the defensive coordinator, and try to really pin this U of H offense back deep. You see Garnham there and a bunch of other guys blitzing from the outside, and they're able to finally get to the quarterback. But now is when it's just keep everything in front of you and make tackles and get off the field.
Bob Shoop calling the blitz package. He likes to refer to it as his magic show. See if they bring the heat here on third down. Just a three-man rush. They'll drop back in coverage. O'Korn incomplete over the middle. Cougars want a flag. There isn't one. McDuffie was the intended target.
Looked like maybe Ladler defending back on the back end. Their playmaker in the secondary. Watch here. They're just going to rush the three up front. So O'Korn's going to have time, but really nowhere to go with the football. And Ladler in excellent position there to knock the football away.
4 straight incompletions now for Houston, forcing the punt team back out. So Leone now with his 5th punt of the game. Fair catch called for by Krause at midfield. 41-yard punt and excellent field position again for the Vanderbilt Commodores. Patton, Robinette and company. This offense has struck gold twice. Can they do it for a third time?
Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
Back at Legion Field here in Birmingham on a frigid afternoon, albeit sunny. 14-0 Vanderbilt out in front. Dave Neal, Andre Ware, Don Davenport down on the sidelines. You look at the Houston defense, and I mean, they have put up some impressive numbers, but they have turned it over one time today, and they have yet to gain one.
The turnover margin for Vanderbilt's pretty good as well, at +6, but that's outstanding for the Cougars.
They lead the country in turnover margin, +25. Robinette batted away at the last moment, looking for Jordan Matthews. It looked like Trayvon Stewart came in and just got a hand on it at the last moment.
Yeah, experienced player, played well as a true freshman last year, but here just peeling back. Nice recognition and zone coverage, where the receiver's coming from on a crossing route. Does a nice job laying out, just getting a hand on the football. But they are aware of where Jordan Matthews is each and every down.
Second down and 10 from midfield. Seymour in the Wildcat. Now they'll switch it back to Robinette. And they'll hand it off to Duran. Sophomore out of Hialeah, Florida. The team's leading rusher will pick up a couple of yards. Ephraim Oliphant with his 4th tackle.
This is exactly what the Cougars want to do defensively. Keep Patton Robinette in an obvious passing situation here on third down. They're going to throw or try to run something. It'll be a draw play, maybe a screen pass, but doing a nice job of forcing him and then bringing some pressure and arriving with that pressure.
Third down and 8. We haven't had a single third down conversion today. Both teams are 0 for 10 combined. Going up top, looking for Matthews. He's got it at the 15, falls forward inside the 10. The kid is amazing. 38 yards.
Boy, you bring the pressure. You put the safety, Trayvon Stewart, in man-to-man coverage against one of the best in the country. Advantage Vanderbilt. And credit Patton Robinette dropping it right in the bucket to his receiver, Jordan Matthews. You're going to run that, bring some pressure, but you better have a safety over the top to help out.
I mean, Stewart looked like he was in great position, just basically a one-handed grab. Seymour down to the 5-yard line, give him 4 on the play. Oliphant with another tackle for the Cougars.
And you just continue to see Jordan Matthews make that play over and over and over again. And most teams throughout the course of the year, they have not had an answer for Jordan Matthews. Came in with 107 receptions, over 1,300 yards. Already a touchdown reception in this ball game.
4 catches, 93 yards for Matthews. Wildcat with Seymour. Here comes Matthews in motion. They'll fake it to him. Seymour will keep it. And well played by Houston. They'll say loss of a yard on the play.
It'll be a small win here for this Cougar defense if they're able to hold Vanderbilt to a field goal attempt. Kind of in a bend but don't break mode.
3rd down and goal from the 6. Under 11 minutes to go here in the 2nd quarter.
This is where they love to run, Pat and Robinette.
Robinette scored from a 12-yard run back in the 1st quarter. Also a 50-yard touchdown pass to Matthews in the 1st quarter. Fullback Fitz Lassing to the left of Robinette. Patton to throw. Passes batted away, incomplete, looking for Jordan Matthews. And now it's 4th and goal.
Stewart makes a nice play, a good jump on the football. You'll see him come in at the top of your screen right there against Matthews and gets a hand on it. This is excellent recognition by Stewart to give himself a jump on the football.
So from the near hash mark, Kerry Spear will attempt the 24-yard field goal, 13 out of 17 this year. Out of the hold of Taylor Hudson, the snap of Andrew East. It is clean and the kick is perfect. So Vanderbilt stretches their lead again. It's now 17-0. Commodores out in front. Back to Birmingham in a moment. Back at Legion Field here in Birmingham with the BBVA Compass Bowl. It's been all Commodores, 17-0. But early this year, Houston got off to a great start. They were just beating up on everybody. They got off to a 7-1 start. Then their schedule got a little bit more difficult as they hit the heart of it against teams like UCF, Louisville, Cincinnati. Lost all 3 of those games. But then they beat SMU in their season finale 34-0. And Andre, that was the first time ever that June Jones, who's coached a long time in college football and scored a lot of points, it was the first time they had ever been shut out.
Yeah, you look at it. They got into the meat of that schedule, as you mentioned, Central Florida, Louisville, and Cincinnati back-to-back, 3 weeks in a row. And that was tough, but finished the season on a strong note to get to 8 wins and get here to the Compass Bowl. This is a tough chore, though. I actually think, Dave, say what you want. I think they missed Doug Meacham, the play caller. It's different. You can sit in a meeting with a guy as every day all year, but it's different when you on game day and you're calling plays.
2 yards deep. DeMarcus Ayers brings it out. Ayers, he's to the 25, out close to the 30-yard line, and that's where Houston will have it. But when you look at the Cougars, they lost by 5 to Central Florida. We know Central Florida how good they are. Louisville, they lost by a touchdown. And Cincinnati, they lost by a touchdown. You see the breakdown of their first 8, last 4.
See the difference in points in the first 8 games, and then those last 4 when they were facing some better defenses in the conference, went down about 19.5 points. Rushing yards, everything just tailed off the last 4 games of the year.
Well, Greg Ward Jr. is in at quarterback. He is listed as their backup quarterback, but has been on the field almost every offensive play here this afternoon. It's wide receiver. This time he'll run it off the right side. Butler makes the play. Glad to see Carl back on the field after what looked like a bad knee injury, a loss of a yard on the play.
This is what they'll do in times when they're stalling out. They'll put Ward in to try to get some type of spark, and he's an electric player. Not big at 5'10", 175 pounds. Just a true freshman, but they love having the ball in his hands.
Great high school career, but not a whole lot of luck against the black and gold defense right now. A loss of 6, so 2 plays minus yardage for Greg Ward Jr. in this Cougar offense.
3 Vanderbilt defenders arrived. Kyle Westerman, Darren Herring, and as well as Chase Garnham. Well, everybody's arriving at the doorstep of the Cougar quarterbacks.
Second sack of the afternoon for the Commodores. Now it's 3rd down and 17. Ward going up top. Haskett has got to make a play. It's incomplete around the 40-yard line.
Nice
That'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, nice coverage by Stephen Clark. Watch him here use the sideline. And that's your friend if you're a cornerback, to force a receiver out wide. He's continuing to fade, and Clark knows that he's running out of room along the sideline. Keeps great body position, and once again the Cougars in that familiar position of punting the football away.
So Leone now will punt for the 6th time today. Jonathan Krause back at the 35-yard line to return it. Boy, good kick here. Tight spiral. Send Krause back to the 25. Fair catch called for. A 50-yard punt by Leone. One of the best in America. Not the only bright spot so far for the Cougars. Back in a moment. Cougars having a good time in downtown Birmingham, getting ready for the BBVA Compass Bowl earlier this week. Tony Levine trying to get the troops fired up. We stayed in the hotel with the Cougar fans, and they were everywhere here in town. And Vanderbilt, can't say enough about the number of tickets they sold. They have filled up the far side from us with a lot of black and gold. Good crowd here at the BBVA Compass Bowl. 17-0, Vanderbilt out in front. Wesley Tate in at running back. How about a little razzle-dazzle? They'll toss it to Matthews, breaks a couple of tackles, and gets it out to the 35-yard line. A gain of 8 on the play with 8:50 to go before halftime.
Well, you talk about a shoestring tackle away from maybe going the distance. A little razzle-dazzle, as you described, Dave. A toss to Jordan Matthews on an end around. It looked like Trayvon Stewart is the defender that comes up with it. Otherwise, Matthews may still be running.
Looks like James Franklin's going to get the best of Jordan Matthews. Figures it's last game in a Vanderbilt uniform. It's working. Diamond in motion, Stephen Shoy. Handoff goes to the right side. Maybe good enough for the 1st down. Derek Matthews.
We go to Wesley
Trips him up.
Tate there. He's a big physical back, kind of their short yardage specialist at 6'1", about 225 pounds. Now it's just, we want to sit inside and pound away a little bit at this Cougar defense.
About 3rd and a half a yard. Look at the numbers on Tate this year. Their big short yardage back. Don't have one of those on the roster right now, so Commodore's out trying to recruit one of those short yardage guys. Tate in the Wildcat formation. He gets hit right at the line of scrimmage. He may have lost a half a yard.
It looked like a great tackle there by Stephen Taylor, slipping inside of Wesley Johnson, and here comes a flag.
It'll be 4th down and a half a yard, depending on the call here.
The play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 21 of the defense. 15 yards from the dead ball spot. Automatic 1st down.
Oh boy, Eric Island, the sophomore out of Houston, an impressive defensive end.
Well, you just can't have that. You finally get off the field, maybe flip the field position a little bit in your favor, and then you get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty call that's going to give Vanderbilt a fresh set of downs and keep this drive going.
Robinette steps up in the pocket, going up top, past Matthews at the 15. That'll be another Commodore touchdown, and the second 50-yard touchdown pass of the afternoon from Robinette to Jordan Matthews.
Yeah, you get a defense where you're down, and they're upset because they were poised to go 3 and out, get off the field. A penalty gives Vanderbilt a 1st down, and they don't really want to still be out there, and allows Matthews to get behind the secondary. That's easy. That's too easy.
Boy, the 15-yard penalty is a killer.
I told everybody listening that Jordan Matthews is a player.
I've been playing football in the SEC for 80 years, close to 80 years, and nobody statistically has been any better.
He'll make a fine pro.
Kerry Spear with the point after. That is point 94 for Kerry Spear. He has a Vanderbilt single-season record for points scored. Jordan Matthews has all kinds of records. Hard to keep up with him. 24-0 Vandy. So for Jordan Matthews, his 19th career 100-yard game. He has 143 yards through the air and a couple of touchdowns, and this is the last one, Andre.
Let's take a look at it. Trayvon Stewart, the safety, he's going to get caught looking in the backfield. Watch the safety here as the play starts. Then you'll see the play fake. Right there, you'll see him get caught looking in the backfield. That allows for Jordan Matthews to go on a post route and watch the room that Patton Robinette has to throw this football. You get caught peeking, all of a sudden Matthews is behind the secondary. No safety help whatsoever for Houston.
Tell you what, this is kind of crazy. This is just a crazy stat. They've had two 4-play 73-yard scoring drives that have both been capped with a 50-yard touchdown pass from Robinette to Matthews.
Yeah, one was a simple catch and run, and the other one was a nice, well-thrown pass from over the top from Robinette to Matthews.
Spear will put his right foot into it. Good deep kick, that is. Taken in the back of the end zone, and here comes Ayers. He's to the 20, out to the 22-yard line. Kerry Spear came in to make the play, the kicker. That'll give us a chance to go down to the sidelines and visit with Dawn once again.
Yeah, just before that Vanderbilt touchdown drive, Patton Robinette and Jordan Matthews had a nice long heart-to-heart over here on the sideline. Jordan ended it by telling him, you know exactly where I'm going to be and when, hit me. Looks like he listened to him, huh?
Tell you what, if I'm Patton Robinette, I'm a little sad. This is the last time I'm going to throw to 87, huh?
Hey, you got the message. No doubt about it. Boy, what a well-thrown ball. And Robinette started this game struggling a little bit, but he's found some rhythm.
Jr.'s pass is complete. That went to Markeith Ambles, his 12th catch of the year.
Well, Ward Jr., good passer, 67% on the year, 300 yards, and he threw a touchdown pass, but they try to get him the football any way they can, and he'll have a couple of series throughout this ball game where he's at quarterback.
Kent Brooks gets the carry, nowhere to Rudd. He loses 3 yards.
And that's because of the penetration of Vanderbilt up the field. Weatherly as well as Baron Dixon, they get up the field. They force Brooks out wide, and therefore there's a loss on the play.
2nd down and 13 coming up for this Houston offense. Pressure comes. Ward beats 2 guys, 3 guys, still on his feet, and finally brought down at the last moment by Chase Garnham, who was the first guy to miss him. A gain of 3.
Well, you see why the coaches are so high on Greg Ward. They just have to get him on the field. He started this game as a receiver, but with the struggles of John O'Corn, they're looking for a spark just to get this offense going, and they've turned to Greg Ward Jr.
3rd down and 9. Ward hit and dropped. Loose football. They will say he's down. They'll say the ground caused the football, but a loss of 6, and now it's 4th and 15, and the pressure again too much for the Cougars to handle. Carl Butler in on that play for the Commodores.
Well, you're going to see number 28 show up in your screen here. The pressure, unable to block him. Ryan Jackson. You're going to drop back and throw the football. You got to have some protection from the running backs to give you a little bit of time to get it out of there. And he's beaten by Carl Butler. They've been pressured about 4 times on 4 different occasions through this ball game.
False start against Houston, and it's all going south now.
Just a sloppy,
number 53 of the offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Really a sloppy first half for this Cougar team. I mean, on both sides of the ball. Offensively, especially when you look at the numbers there, and unable to move the football, but defensively as well, some breakdowns on the back end.
Leone's punt wobbly, but taken by Kraus, dancing around. Kraus trying to get a block on the far side. Gets one, and he's inside Cougar territory. Good return by Krause, and flags come flying in. And that could be another free 15.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a late hit out of bounds, and Vanderbilt going to benefit again.
That was a 45-yard punt, 19-yard return by Krause. Well, that could move the football deep into Houston territory.
Personal foul. Number 98 of the kicking team. Late hit out of bounds. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Well, keep an eye on Jonathan Krause. Well out of bounds, slowing down, and then right there. Just uncalled for.
Well, that'll move it to the 30-yard line, but it's Mac and the Sun Belt Sunday on ESPN as Keith Winning leads the Cardinals' high-flying offense against the Red Wolves in the GoDaddy Bowl. Arkansas State, Ball State tomorrow at 9 on ESPN. It's also live on the Watch ESPN. 1st and 10 from the 30. Short field for the Commodores. Cut back to the right by Kimbrough and tripped up over one of the hash marks, I think. Gain of only 3. Watch that hash mark. It'll trip. It'll get you.
The old turf monster Kimbrough, the third of these backs. We've seen Seymour, Tate, and now Kimbrough, and they do it running back by committee, but they'll try to keep a fresh back in the game at all times. Kimbrough and Seymour built a lot alike, 5'8". Seymour's a little thicker at 200 pounds. Kimbrough goes about 185. He's a slasher, more of a home run threat.
Kimbrough in the Wildcat formation. Now Robinette will come back, and Kimbrough will slide over to his right. 2nd down and 7. Going up top. A little miscommunication and picked off in the end zone. The first break for the Cougars. Interception by Zach McMillan. That is his 5th of the year, and that is the 24th interception by the Cougars, which is the 2nd best in the FBS.
Yeah, Krause had inside position on McMillan. The ball is thrown outside. You see it float away from Krause and right into the arms of Zachary McMillan. But if I'm Patton Robinette, I'm going to get all over Jonathan Krause right now. The ball's, it's a bad throw, but go fight for me. Go back and knock the thing away so that we can come back the next down and fight on.
3rd interception. The 4th interception of the year by Robinette. Kenneth Farrow with the carry. He'll pick up 4 as the clock goes under 3.5 minutes to go here in the first half. O'Corn back in at quarterback. A couple of series for Greg Ward Jr.
Well, he talked about going fast. Well, one thing you got to do when you go fast is have some success, or you're just going to be punting the football all day long.
Pass is caught at the 28. That'll be shy of a couple of yards, actually incomplete. Daniel Spencer, the intended receiver. So now you're looking at 3rd and 6.
Nice job there by Carl Butler. Yeah, they would have missed him. He is a good player on the back end of this defense.
Here comes the blitz to the wide side of the field. Vandy all over to the far side. Javon Marshall with a great play. Gain of only 2. Deontay Greenberry made the catch, but now it's 4th down, and Tony Levine decides to punt it away again.
You know, Vanderbilt defensively, they are all over these routes, and maybe it's time for some double moves. You know, a pump and go, some things that where you can double move if you can hold up in pass protection and get the ball out. Marshall, Ladler, Hal, these guys are jumping routes, and you're going to continue to struggle if you don't change some things up and threaten down the field.
He only punts again. Jonathan Krause fields it. This time nowhere to run. He'll be stopped back at the 25-yard line. A 45-yard punt and no return. Adrian McDonald led the special teams play for the Cougars, and that'll give us an opportunity to head to the studios, get an update of what's coming up at halftime with Chris Cotter. Hey, Chris.
Dave, Andre, here's what's coming up at the half. Trevor Madish will be here in studio with me. We'll give you the latest on what's happening with Charlie Strong in Texas. Has he been offered the job? Has he accepted the job? We'll give you the latest on that situation. Also, a BCS preview in a unique way that only Trevor Matich can do, and an update on North Dakota State trying to win yet another FCS title. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Chris. See you here in about 2 minutes and 15 seconds off our game clock.
My man CC handling things back in the studio today.
Warm and toasty in the studios. First down and 10 for Vanderbilt. They throw the interception a minute ago, but forced the punt. Robinette decides to run it. And he'll get it over the 30 to the 31-yard line. A gain of 6 on the play. Oliphant with tackle number 6 for the Cougars. What do you make of Patton Robinette here in the first half?
He's had a solid first half. He struggled a little bit to start this game, but got settled in. Two big touchdown passes to Jordan Matthews. He's been consistent, a rushing touchdown to go along with it. Gotten himself settled in well.
23 yards on the ground, 6 of 13, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that pick we just saw a moment ago. Second down, and let's call it 5. Little sweep near side. Seymour spins, and he gets it out to the 35-yard line, about a yard shy of the first down.
He runs with a little more power than you give credit for. Built so well in his lower body. He's got great strength. And you see him as just 5'7", but boy, does he run with power.
On 3rd and short, Robinette lofting it up, looking for Kraus. Got his left hand on it, incomplete, just a little bit out in front. Adrian McDonald on the coverage for Houston.
Well, they run that tunnel screen a bunch, and there they fake it to Matthews, try to get his Cougar defense to bite, and then slip Kraus up the field, who's usually the blocker for Jordan Matthews. We saw him throw that excellent block on the first touchdown reception for Matthews, and he's unable to connect. Plenty of time here. Houston to get a drive going and get themselves in the end zone. 108, 3 timeouts.
Colby Cook to punt. Boy, it takes a Vanderbilt bounce and will go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. A 51-yard punt. Well, watch number 1 Florida State take on number 2 Auburn 8 different ways with the BCS MegaCast. Monday starting at 8 p.m. We'll cover the Vizio BCS National Championship from every angle across the ESPN networks. While traditional game coverage can be found on ESPN, ESPN2 will host BCS Title Talk, where analysts break down the game with celebrity guests. And then on ESPN News, it's the BCS Film Room. And to hear the sideline sounds of the game, be sure to turn it on to ESPN Classic. For all the ways to watch, visit ESPN.com/megacast. Coverage begins Monday at 8 p.m. We'll slide it underneath to Deontay Greenberry, and he doesn't have a whole lot of room to work, only a yard. Not a lot of downfield passes today.
And that's what I mean. You're allowing Vanderbilt to just sit back in their zone and then attack. Once you throw underneath, and passes are complete, but they're not going anywhere.
Under 40 seconds to go before halftime. They'll run it off the right side. And it looks like Houston will be content just to get this to the locker room. Ryan Jackson on that carry, a gain of 4, and reevaluate things in a 24-0 game. This has just been a clinic really on both sides of the ball for Vanderbilt. Defensively, they have been very impressive.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, they've tackled so well in space throughout the first half of this game.
Pass is batted, then caught by the big fella up front, and that'll do it for the first half. So Rowdy Harper gets a reception, and that'll do it for the first 30 minutes of football. An impressive display by the Commodores, trying to pick up win number 9, which would be the first time in school history they could go 9 wins in back-to-back seasons, as Jordan Matthews, 2 50-yard touchdown receptions. Patton Robinette with a 12-yard touchdown run, and that'll get us a chance to visit with Dawn, who has James Franklin.
Yeah, that's right, Coach. 24 points from your offense. What's been the key to their success that half?
Our defense is playing extremely well. We've had great field position. We're not playing as well as we're capable of playing on offense, but our defense has played great.
When you look at that defense, you knew Houston was going to come in and try and play fast. What's been the key?
Well, we're just playing really sound football. We're in great position. Our alignment's been really good, and we're tackling well, which we talked about before is an epidemic in college football right now, so I'm pleased with that.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
James Franklin, his club at 8-4, Houston at 8-4, but right now the Doors are up 24-0 at the break. That's the end of the first half. Let's get you to the studio for the halftime report. It's Trevor and Chris. A Compass Bowl here in Birmingham, Alabama. Historic Legion Field. 2 quarters are in the books, and they both belong to the Vanderbilt Commodores. They lead Houston 24-0. A couple of clubs that came in here with identical 8-4 records. Dave Neal back alongside my partner Andre Ware. And Andre, Houston never got in sync. Is that a testament to the Vanderbilt defense or maybe the ineptness of the Cougar offense?
Well, I think you have to really credit Vanderbilt defensively. They've tackled well in space, as James Franklin told us the end of the first half. But as well, I think there's an offensive coordinator change, and I think that's had a little bit to do with it, as well as with the Cougars being out of sync in the first half.
Well, certainly Houston didn't help themselves with some penalties at some bad times, and only picked up 1 first down in that first half. The furthest they got the football was to their own 32-yard line. You look at the numbers: 6 yards rushing, 16 yards passing, 232 to 22 in total yards. Well, I don't know what else you can really say other than Houston might be a different football team in the second half here, or at least you hope so anyway.
Yeah, they've got to find a way to get a spark. They tried it with Greg Ward Jr. at quarterback, bringing John O'Corn back in the ball game, but got to find a way. They may be through the ground, Dave, on the ground.
That kick will sail through the end zone. Cougars will have it out to 25, and that'll give us a chance to go downstairs and visit again with Dawn Davenport.
It starts up front. That was the message from head coach Tony Levine to his guys here at the break. He said the O-line has got to block better. Run blocking, pass blocking, you name it, it's got to get better. He said that's where it all starts. Now, Andre, you talked about giving them some kind of a spark. He said that O'Corn will play, but you are going to see Greg Ward a little bit here this half, so maybe that'll give him that spark.
Yeah, Donna, it may be a situation where you just swing the ball out to Greg Ward. Give him the ball in space. Let him go to work. Try to get Deontay Greenberry worked in this game, the team's best receiver, as well as Daniel Spencer.
They'll fake it, throw over the middle, pass is caught. That'll go to Markeith Ambles, and that'll be out to the 40-yard line. Their best field position so far this afternoon on the first play of the second half.
Yeah, Ambles a big-time player. Started his career at USC, and the coaches believe he's got NFL-type stuff.
O'Corn will throw again. A little bit behind his intended target, Daniel Spencer. O'Corn, by the way, in that first half was 6 out of 14, 6 yards. Ward Jr. was 1 out of 2. He picked up 10 yards.
He really just hadn't gotten himself settled into this ball game.
O'Corn over the middle, pass caught again by Ambles. Gain of 6.5, maybe 7.
Well, they say he had an excellent couple of weeks of bowl practices and just felt like he was ready to explode.
On third down, over the middle, almost picked off. Carl Butler had his hands on it, looking for Deontay Greenberry, and now it's fourth down.
Well, they love Greenberry with his big frame over the middle, all 6'3" of him, and Butler almost picks one off, and if he doesn't have it, Ladler may be able to make a play on it as well. That's the third pass breakup by Carl Butler on the back end.
So Leone punts it again. He had 8 punts in the first half.
He has gotten a workout.
Averaging 44.5 punts. Fair catch called for by Krause at the 12-yard line. A 42-yard punt with no return. And the Vanderbilt Commodores will have their first possession of the second half, up 24. Patton Robinette back in at quarterback. And once again, if you didn't know, just joining us, their starter, the senior Austin Carter Samuels, played the last 3 games of the year on a torn ACL. Finally just had enough and had surgery right after the season. He is not able to play today. He's on the sidelines, but that means Patton Robinette. There is Austin Carter Samuels.
While Carter Samuels was in the lineup, those last couple of starts he had, Patton Robinette was basically their threat to run at quarterback, and that's how they used him.
Well, that pass is behind the line of scrimmage, but it went out of bounds, so not a good throw by Robinette here to open up the second half.
Well, that's where it's going to be spotted as well, because it was a lateral.
Back inside the 10. It'll be spotted at the 7-yard line.
I don't know if the wind is affecting the way he's throwing going this way, because he tried to pass earlier or later in the second half and Jonathan Crouch, which the wind had some effect on it. It blew it behind and led to the McMillan interception. And that one was way off the mark.
On 2nd and long, nickel package in defensively for the Cougars. Pressure. Robinette slides out of the end zone, but he's dropped back inside the 5-yard line by Trevor Harris. A loss of 2 on the play. And for Harris, that'll be his 5th sack of the season.
Yeah, Harris was a high-school receiver. He's got a long body, and he didn't make it there as a receiver, so they moved him to defense. He's just continuing to try to put weight on and add to a frame, but he's a good speed rusher off the edge, and they're able to get to Patton Robinette.
Now it's 3rd down and 19. Ball sits at the 3-yard line. Line to makes out at the 22. Just trying to run it off the right side. He ran into a red wall of defenders. He got only a yard on the play, and big 92 Joey Mbu, the first man on the spot for Houston.
Excellent in the middle. Plays with good leverage. He's the team's best defensive lineman. 6'3", 312, mentioned at Foster High School down in Richmond, Texas. Nice job of getting to the quarterback, and the Cougars here are going to have the best field position that they've had to start a drive all game long, and with any type of return from Ward.
Nice tight spiral. Greg Ward Jr. backpedals, drops it at the 40. Will pick it up at the 41, and he is out to the 47-yard line. 55-yard punt, but the best field position of the day. The Cougars haven't seen this part of the field yet offensively. Let's see what they can do with it. They need some points on the board. Part of the Street Fest last night. A little pep rally in Birmingham, getting ready for the BBVA Compass Bowl. A lot of Commodores here in the Birmingham area. And the Door fans like what they have seen so far. 24-0, but Houston with their best field position of the game. And this is a quick strike up-tempo offense that averages 34 points a game. So there's certainly some points on the board for this Cougar team out there. And they hit Deontay Greenberry. He is inside Vanderbilt territory. First time today Cougars have sniffed this side of the field.
Well, when you're struggling, you get to your playmakers, and Greenberry's certainly the best option for the Cougars.
4-man rush. O'Korn going up top. In and out of the hands of Markeith Ambles, who looks like he has been the target here in the second half.
Yeah, he's working against a pretty good corner in Andre Howe. You see him here just reading the eyes of the quarterback, and does a nice job of getting that right hand between the hands of the receiver and the football.
2nd down and 10. They'll swing it out to Jackson. Makes a man miss. Cuts it back to the inside. Dropped inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. A gain of 23. Brought down by Stephen Weatherly.
About 180 pounds soaking wet. And they just try to get him in space. That's where he's best utilized.
Little shoulder fake. O'Korn to the corner of the end zone. Batted around, almost picked off by Kenny Ladler.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, Dave, about maybe a pump and go in some way, shape, or form for this Cougar offense, because Vanderbilt was biting so hard. Then Ladler in excellent position. Greenberry does a good job of coming back and fighting to break it up. Otherwise, I think Ladler comes away with a pick.
2nd down. Little toss sweep. Nice dance moves by Spencer, and he's all the way down to the 11-yard line.
It looks like a Vanderbilt player, Javon Marshall, shaking up on that play.
A senior strong safety out of Ohio. 3rd on the team with 77 stops.
I think it may be a left forearm that they're taking a look at. You see him come in right there, number 31. Keeps nice outside leverage. Good tackle, and then just a bunch of bodies falling in. Jake Seelan, the middle linebacker.
They did go crown of the helmet to the crown of the helmet there, as both guys kind of lowered their heads on impact. While the medical staff evaluates his situation, we'll step aside. Back in a moment. To look at Javon Marshall on the far side. He hopped up, jogged off under his own power as the staff continues to look at what appears to be that left shoulder, left arm area after that collision.
Yeah, Dave, they lose a playmaker on the back end. 3-year starter, you know, kind of an extension of the coaching staff, makes all the calls in the secondary. So that's a big loss if they can't get him back in the game.
Third down coming up. Ball sits at the 12. O'Corn looking, going to have to run with it. He turns the corner and will be shy of the first down. He's flipped out of bounds. No flag on the play, but they'll spot it at the 6-yard line. And now, if you're Tony Levine down 24, I would assume this is one of those situations you want to go for.
Yeah, as you hadn't been down in this area of the field often, and so you have to take advantage when you get some field position and an opportunity to score. First half of the ball game, just 22 total yards for this Cougar offense. This drive alone, they put together 47 yards. So I agree with this decision. Down 24-0, hadn't been down here all game long. You got to go for it here.
Pass almost picked off. Tried a quick slant, but Andre Howe almost came up with it. They were looking for Larry McDuffie.
Well, they're picking on the wrong guy because he's arguably their best cover man. I mean, just gets great inside position on McDuffie, who's a little bit lighter at about 160 pounds. Howe can handle him, you know, on the back end, and he just basically positioned his way into that pass breakup, and he's disappointed because it actually should have been an interception.
And now Vanderbilt will take over at the 6. Best drive of the day for Houston. They have nothing to show for it. Hand it off left side. Here goes Kimbrough. He'll be stopped after a gain of 2 on the play. Derek Matthews in on that tackle along with Adrian McDonald.
A good job on the outside, keeping leverage. That's what you have to do. And outside runs, you know, to execute, you better have some good edge blocking, and then defensively, you can't give up the corner. You cannot allow the ball carrier on the outside, and Trevor Harris does a pretty good job there.
Second down. Robinette will run it right off guard, and he will lose the football. Houston has it inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line. They have an interception. Now they have a fumble.
You know, you talked about it earlier. Plus 25 in turnover margin coming into this ball game, and they forced 17 fumbles throughout the regular season. Patton Robinette carrying it a little loosely. You get in the crowd, both hands have to go on the football. Nice job of tackling, stripping the football, and I think it was Jeremiah Farley in there to knock it out, with Jackson coming up with the fumble recovery.
Best team in the country at creating turnovers.
Well, they've got to get in the end zone right now.
Well, they were at the same spot a moment ago, except now it's 1st and goal from the 6. Handoff goes to Farrell. Touchdown, Houston. 6 yards out, and the Cougars are on the board after the turnover.
Some pretty good blocks up front. Farrell with just the determination to get in the end zone, and a lot of the success they've had offensively has come by way of number 35. So that may be an option going forward as you try to get back in this game. Maybe establish Farrell in this running game.
Kyle Bullard on to attempt the point after. Well, this Houston team has been dynamite at creating turnovers. They've also led to 141 points on the year. The fumble here creates a 1st and goal from the 6. And from there, it's Kenneth Farrow with his 6th rushing touchdown. Cougars back in this one. All it takes is a touchdown. 3rd quarter football, 10-12 to go.
Well, they got back into it the way they know how. That's turning teams over and then points after the turnover. It was Tommy Mark that actually forced the fumble.
I'll tell you what, it has been the turnover story has just been incredible. That's how Houston was able to win 8 games this year. And they do it there, but then they come back with another mistake. That is not the first time today we've seen Houston, after a good play, hurt themselves as the kick goes out of bounds. So they'll spot it at the 35-yard line.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. The ball will be placed at 35-yard line. 1st down.
Well, the most storied conference in college athletics lives on a new 24-hour, 7-day-a-week network. It's launching in August of 2014. Go to GetSECNetwork.com and demand the network from your TV provider today. Good look at Legion Field here in Birmingham. Here is Jerron Seymour, and the Wildcat has a little room to run, and he is tracked down out over the 40 to the 41-yard line. A gain of 6 on the play. Good play by Trayvon Stewart. Really like Stewart. He has come up to make some good plays for Houston. He's done so all season long. A couple of passes broken up, 4 interceptions on the year for Stewart. As a matter of fact, he is not just an outstanding tackler, but he leads the NCAA all players with 10 turnovers gained. That's 6 fumble recoveries and 4 picks.
Only 1 hiccup today for Stewart, and that was a deep 50-yard touchdown pass. And he got caught peeking in the backfield. Matthews got behind him, but there it looked like Seymour was going to go for a while. Pretty good tackle on the open field.
Robinette will come back and slide into the shotgun formation with Seymour to his right. They will hand it off to Jerron, and he runs right into the heart of that Cougar defense led by Jeremiah Farley. Defensive tackle makes the play after a 2-yard gain.
And that's what's going to have to happen here for this Cougar defense. Stop the run. Robinette, Seymour, Tate came in, Kimbrough. They're able to move the football on the ground. They're able to force Robinette to make a living throwing the ball and not give up explosive plays down the field, which is one of the things we talked about in our keys. Their keys today, not giving up big plays to Matthews. They can eliminate that. They'll get back in this ball game.
Vanderbilt 1 out of 10 on 3rd downs today. Seymour lines up in that Wildcat. He'll run off the left side. Nothing there. Swarming Cougar defense. A loss of a yard on the play. First man there was Efren Oliphant, followed by Steve Taylor.
Yeah, Stephen Taylor has played. You talk about Stewart playing a nice ball game. Stephen Taylor's been active as well. Watch number 41. Going to flash right into your screen right there. Grab a hold of Seymour and then bring him down. Not allowing Seymour to advance the football and just hold on till help comes. What, 8 tackles already for Stephen Taylor.
Cook to punt it away. Greg Ward Jr. calls for a fair catch, and he will make the grab inside the 15 at the 14.5-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will have it. 24-7. Commodores out in front, but Mr. Mose on the side of the Cougars. Well, watch #1 Florida State take on #2 Auburn 8 different ways with BCS MegaCast. Monday starting at 8 p.m. we'll cover the Vizio BCS National Championship from every angle across the ESPN networks. While traditional game coverage can be found on ESPN, ESPN2 will host BCS Title Talk, where analysts break down the game with celebrity guests. On ESPN News, it's the BCS Film Room. And to hear the sideline sounds of the game, turn on ESPN Classic. For all the ways to watch, visit ESPN.com. MegaCast coverage begins Monday at 8 on ESPN. Cougars have the football. Backed up inside their own 15, but at least they have the football after scoring a touchdown on their last drive. Pass is caught on the near side by Markeith Ambles. A gain of 11, move the chains.
Boy, he has really put some life, or injected some life into this Cougar offense. They decided to make him a target here in the second half, and he has responded.
Handoff goes to Farrow. And Kenneth, the sophomore out of Hurst, Texas, picks up 5 out to the 30-yard line.
They're trying to speed things up. They wanted to be fast today, increase the tempo throughout the ball game, but when you aren't moving it, it's tough to do that.
Second down, 4.5. Around the near side goes Daniel Spencer in the open field. Spencer to the 30. He's to the 20. Inside the 10, dropped at the 7-yard line by Andre Howe. A 62-yard pickup for Daniel Spencer. First time we've seen that formation today.
Boy, Spencer was one of our impact players. Felt like he was going to have an effect on this ball game because they have to get him the ball some way, somehow, because of the explosiveness that he brings to the offense.
Cougars to the line quickly. Handed off to Farrow. He's met at the 6-yard line. Kyle Westman along with Kenny Lather coming to make the play.
Well, take a look at the run here. A couple of good edge blocks. And then it's just the athletic ability of Daniel Spencer down the field, setting up guys. He makes Stephen Clark miss to advance at about another 5 to 7 yards.
Throw. Looking for Ambles.
Tape, they are ripe for a play action fake and then a pump and go. As you look at it, Hal has been in great position because he's just committed. He's jumping every route inside. And you just show it to him and then take it back. Give it play action in here and then back outside. And I think you're going to have exactly what you want to Ambles or either Greenberry, and you throw in Spencer as well.
The lob to the corner, looking for Ambles. Did he have it? Touchdown, Cougars. What a catch at the back of the end zone over Andre Howe.
Boy, what a move. And you look at it, Hal has been biting all game long. He gives him the inside move. All it takes is one in college football. He goes back out to the fade, and watch the footwork on the part of Ambles right there. Nice job. Pretty good throw by the youngster O'Corn as well.
I think we're going to take a closer look.
We'll take a look at the previous play, whether Marquise Ambles got his feet down, and mentioned this young man started his career at USC and then went to junior college. You'll see right here, nice job of climbing the ladder. It just takes one. Well, I think that's what's tough. And remember, it's got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn this call. I think the right heel comes in right there, and in the foot, the right foot and the left heel both look like they're down and inbounds. Certainly the right foot before the left one taps out. Well, that's great camera work. Right there. That's where it's defined, right there. I think we got a ball game, Dave Neal.
Markeith Ambles with his first touchdown reception, if it holds up. This is an offense that had 22 yards
in the first half. I mean, they were...
Ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
lifeless in the first half of this ball game, to say the least. And Tony Levine gave some kind of halftime speech to get his troops going, and all of a sudden it's been a different ball game. They started the way they have all season long. The spark was lit by a turnover and a touchdown, and here come the Cougars.
Point after is up, and it is good. And here come the Cougars. Down 24-0 at the break. They have scored 2 quick touchdowns here in the third quarter to cut this to 10. And certainly the excitement level has increased on that Cougars sideline. Let's go down to the sidelines, check in with Dawn.
You talk about increased. I'm going to say it is night and day difference on this Houston sideline. It's loud. There's communication, maybe even some smiles here and there. John O'Korn just came off the field, visited his defense, hit every one of his linebackers here on the shoulder pads and said, let's go. We're in this one.
How about second half yardage compared to the first? I mean, Dawn used the term night and day. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, Vanderbilt just 7 yards of offense here in the second half. The Cougars 159, which that was upside down in the first half. And in Vanderbilt, a couple of possessions, they've gone 3 and out on three possessions, and then a fumble as well that led to, or started it, the comeback for the Cougars, and they've now have 2 touchdowns here in the second half.
Was a 6-play, 86-yard drive. Ambrose with that 6-yard touchdown reception, but a 63-yard run by Spencer set it all up. Here goes Darius Sims, and he is met by a swarm of Cougar special teams performers inside the 10. They'll spot it at the 8-yard line.
You talk about a team that's come to life.
And you heard James Franklin at the end of the first half say that as well as we played defensively, we left a lot on the field offensively.
Yeah. And they have got to get something started here offensively. Otherwise, field position right now has flipped itself in favor of the Cougars.
There is a flag. I just now noted. It is at the other end of the field at the 35-yard line. And I wonder if that's not offsides against Houston.
No, that would hurt.
Offsides on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty will be enforced and re-kick.
It was just dropped right on the sideline in front of the Cougar bench, so it was hard to pick it up.
Well, you talk about hurting. That is a big-time mistake by this Cougar kicking team, because you have Vanderbilt down about their 10-yard line.
Tony Levine is not happy about the call, but keep an eye on the left side of your screen.
It's right there. It's a good call by the officials.
Vanderbilt had it at the 6. I mean, it's going to be hard for Houston to overcome these mistakes after they get some momentum. They just continue to do some things that you just don't normally see. But it's that, you know, you say it all the time. You get that month layoff, and some of the finer points kind of get lost.
It's really game speed, and who adjusts to the game speed fastest usually wins the football game.
Sims will take it at the 5. He is to the 23-yard line, so a substantial difference now for the Commodore offense after the 18-yard return. First 3 Vandy drives of the second half. They had a 3-and-out, then they fumbled.
Well, the field
and a 3-and-out.
Just really flipped itself back in favor of Vanderbilt, because you have it inside the 10-yard line and you're able to get off the field. You're going to get it somewhere around midfield or maybe beyond. But when you're struggling, what do? Got to find a way to get the football to your playmaker.
Yeah, 8-7 would be a guy I'd look for in white if I'm Pat and Robinette. Kimbrough, your single setback. Handed off left side. Huge hole. Kimbrough to the 42-yard line and tripped up there. 19 yards. That was a whole 10 yards wide.
Boy, and this is what we've grown accustomed to seeing from Kimbrough. Watch the lane right here. And watch him just hit it. Nice seal block there by Shoy, the tight end. And then it's just the speed of Kimbrough to take advantage of a nice block thrown by Stephen Shoy.
First down and 10 from the 42. Kimbrough stays in the game. He'll fake it to him. Robinette going up top. Wobbly pass. Nobody home. And boy, a chance to pick that one off. Jonathan Krause was the intended target, but William Jackson was trying to chase that ball down.
Well, they felt like William Jackson was going to make an imprint in this game because of his size at 6'1" and trying to match up with Jordan Matthews. And boy, Robinette is taking some shots.
And remember, Dre, they don't have another quarterback,
Yeah.
true quarterback. They have Chris Quintera, the tight end, a sophomore to Colorado Springs, who was a quarterback in high school, but he's their tight end.
Trying to keep the red shirt for Johnny McCrary, a true freshman out of Decatur, Georgia.
Kimbrough in the Wildcat will give way to Robinette now. Robinette, wide side throw, high off the hands of Matthews, and that was almost picked off. Boy, Robinette has thrown it high a couple of times to Matthews. I think Jordan might have a little chat with his quarterback.
And it's usually when he's throwing the ball right, it is coming out a little bit high and then maybe even behind Jordan Matthews. And remember earlier in this game, the interception by McMillan, we talked about it, floated right and away from the intended receiver Krause.
Now it's third down and 10. Ball's at the 42-yard line.
This is right where David Gibbs, the defensive coordinator for Houston, wants this Vanderbilt offense. Inexperienced quarterback in long yardage situations.
And movement, back him up 5.
Well, Spencer Pulley, the right guard. A versatile player. They can play.
Number 77 in the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
They can play guard or out of tackle. They moved to guard this year from center, where he was actually the starter last year at center. A lot of pressure right now on the shoulders of Pat and Robinette in this Vanderbilt offense.
Vanderbilt will take a timeout. James Franklin not happy again.
Vanderbilt. They're first. 30 seconds.
And a big 3rd and 15. And Vanderbilt in that first half just had some issues offensively, but still had some big plays. A couple of 50-yard touchdown passes from Robinette to Jordan Matthews. But here in the second half, really can't get much going. The only play they had was the 23-yard run by Kimbrough a moment ago.
Robinette actually as well had a touchdown run to add to the things in the first half, but it's been a tough going in the second half. You see the difference there. 232 yards in the first half, only 26 in the second half of this one.
20 of that on one carry a moment ago. So now it's 3rd and 15. Four-man look by the Cougars. They will rush 4. Robinette stands in the pocket. Now he's going to have to drift to his right. Going to try to run for it and won't make it. Dropped at the original line of scrimmage by Derek Matthews, who's making his 39th career start, and now it's 4th down and 10.
He moved from outside linebacker to the middle, and you know, with his speed, he's got good range, and he's kind of the glue of this defensive unit. He's the energizer. As he goes, the rest of the defense follows him. 6 tackles and 1 for a loss in this ball game.
He has 348 career total tackles, and he's only a junior. Here's the punt by Cook. It will go out of bounds. Let's see where they spot it. Should be near the 20, and it will be on the 20-yard line. A 37-yard punt. So the Cougars will have the football. They are down 10, 4:39 to go in the third. Number 1 Florida State, number 2 Auburn, the Vizio BCS National Championship. The Seminoles look to complete their undefeated season and claim their first title since '99. While the Tigers aim to finish their remarkable ride by raising the crystal ball. Watch the Vizio BCS National Championship 8 different ways across the ESPN networks with BCS Megacast. Coverage begins Monday at 8 on ESPN. For all the ways to watch, visit ESPN.com/Megacast.
You don't think that stage's too big for Jameis Winston?
No.
No, not at all.
He'll be all right.
He'll be fine.
O'Corn going up top, has a man and caught in midfield. Markeith Ambles inside the 30, down to the 25-yard line.
Boy, has Ambles had an effect here in the second half of this ball game. 5-star recruit out of high school. Went to Arizona Western in junior college and then made his way to Houston.
Greg Ward Jr. will take the snap and he will throw. Spins out of trouble. Looking. And hit back at the 16-yard line. Gain of 6 on the play, making something out of nothing.
We'll watch the play by Ambles. Little stutter and go. Little slant and go. And then Hal has been biting all game long. And you just kept feeling like eventually they would get to some slant and goes, double moves. And they've given O'Corn enough time to throw the football.
O'Corn comes back near side, incomplete. Well, I tell you what, that's tricky. When you got 2 guys like O'Corn and Ward Jr. that are on the field at the same time, and Ward Jr. can certainly throw it around as well as anybody.
Yeah, that's the deal, is when you usually bring in a Wildcat-type quarterback, he can't throw. Greg Ward's a quarterback. You better believe he can throw it.
He threw for over 4,000 yards in high school as a senior. O'Corn will line up in the shotgun. They'll spread it out. 3 to the near side, 2 to the far side on 3rd down and 4. Here comes some heat by Vanderbilt. They'll go near side. Pass is caught, but I think it might be a little bit shy. Deontay Greenberry might have lost where that first down line was and has 3 but needed 4.
And I think this situation where there's no doubt Tony Levine's going to go for it. Walker May, Vanderbilt's best defensive player, arguably their best defensive player and certainly their best pass rusher. He's the player down right now.
He's coming back home, the senior from right here in Birmingham, Alabama. .40 stops on the year, 4 sacks, 8.5 tackles behind the line.
You know what I like about him, and he's always around the football. Just always seems to be in the right place at the right time and right around the ball.
Let me ask you this, Andre. You're down 10. 4th and a yard. Why not take the 3?
You're riding the momentum right now. And you've been able to have some success running the football. No guarantee the way the wind's whipping around, so he's got to take a timeout and think about this.
James Franklin wanted the timeout. I don't think he.
30 seconds.
I don't think he liked the way his defense was set up. Didn't have the right personnel in, perhaps. But you see Houston on their 4th downs. 3 out of 14, 122nd in the FBS. On the flip side, Vanderbilt has converted 22 4th downs, which is the most in the FBS.
And defensively, they've given up 13 out of 21 tries by the opponent. And opponents have converted 62% on 4th down against this Vanderbilt defense. So all that stuff factors in when you start thinking about going for it here. It's really a feel thing and how the game's going, the momentum. And they've elected to go your route and try the field goal here.
So they will attempt a 30-yard field goal. Kyle Bullard, good clean snap. Kick is on the way. And it is good. So they get the 3 and make it a touchdown game as Bullard is now 6 out of 6 on the year. And it's a 24-17 tally here at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, what a comeback. It's been all the first half of this one, all Vanderbilt, and the second half has been all Houston.
Well, Houston has gone to the air. They've gone deep to throw the football, and John O'Corn looks like he might be another quarterback in a long line of good ones at Houston. How about Case Keenum, 2011? He could sling it around with anybody. Boy, Cougars were great. Then David Klingler back in 1990. Guy you knew quite well. He slung it around as well as anybody. Oh, and hey, how did he get on there? Andre Ware, my partner, put on a clinic on his way to a Heisman Trophy. And, you know, I have to admit it. I will have to admit it. That last highlight we saw, you spun that as well as anybody I've ever seen spin one. That was tight.
Can't do that anymore.
No, you can't.
Maybe on a good day.
Houston has been known as an offensive machine since back in the 80s, and they're averaging 34 a game under Tony Levine, and they've put 17 on the board here in the third quarter to cut it to 7. Sims will take it from the goal line, and he is tripped up at the 28. Boy, he comes out of there like a bullet. So let's see if Vanderbilt can get some first downs. They have really struggled here in the third quarter.
Well, they look like the Cougars looked in the first half, really couldn't find their way offensively. And then now it's been Vanderbilt, and we talked about it. You go to your playmaker and find a way to get the football to Jordan Matthews. In situations like this, when you're stalling, you got to go to the playmaker, Jordan Matthews.
So in the first half, they tried a couple of reverses with Jordan or threw it to him. See what they do here. 2 receivers to the near side. Matthews split wide to the near side. Couple of tight ends in the game. Kimbrough is your running back. They will hand it off to Bryant. He kicks it to the outside, and he's running hard out over the 40 to the 41. That'll be a first down. Give him 12. Steve Taylor.
Wow.
Boy, he's running hard, huh?
Tell you what, he delivered at the end of that one. Unleashed on Adrian McDonald, the safety. And Kimbrough's only about 5'8", 185 pounds. We hadn't seen him run that tough. Kind of a different gear with him in the ball game.
Kimbrough, 5'8", 185, the sophomore out of Nashville. He and Seymour are sophomores. Traditional I formation set for the Commodores. Here goes Kimbrough, spins but trips himself up at the 45-yard line. Give him 3 on the play. Clock moving, 2:25 to go in the third quarter. It was 24-0 at the half. 22 yards of offense in the first half for Houston. They had 1 first down. Never got the ball past the 34-yard line.
Yeah, well, you know what Vanderbilt's recipe is going to be right here. That's run the football. They're going to pound away.
Boy, Houston knew that was coming. They switched a couple of linebackers at the last moment from the left side over to the right side, and Vanderbilt ran right into it. A loss of 3.
Well,
Steve Taylor on the
going
tackle.
all the way back to the first half. Watch the switch here. They break the huddle fast. You see everybody going to that side of the formation, and it's Stephen Taylor who basically puts himself right in the right spot. But even back into the first quarter, the majority of this Vanderbilt running game has gone left. That's where the success has come from, behind Wesley Johnson, Jake Bernstein, and Joe Townsend. So now the Cougars, they're prepared and ready for it.
Looks like some heat's coming. Actually, they'll fall back. 4-man rush. Robinette still under pressures. Vandy tried to set up the screen, and Houston sniffed it out, and it'll be 4th down and 10 coming up. And here comes the Commodore punt team.
Excellent job in terms of pressure from Trevor Harris off the edge. A high score receiver who's turned defensive end and just read everything well. There's Harris there. And the Cougars sniff out the screen and force another punt.
5 straight incompletions now for the Commodores. Colby Cook to punt it away. Greg Ward Jr. stands at the 15 and will call for the fair catch. So down a touchdown. Houston will have the football with 1:15 to play here in the third quarter. What a difference. It's crazy coming out of the locker room. Everybody here.
I mean, essentially, this is a drive to go tie the game.
And we were standing here at halftime with a bunch of members of the media and just saying, what's going on with Houston? This is incredible.
Yeah.
Didn't see this coming. And well, now we're seeing the Houston we thought we would see.
Well, kind of reminds us of the game we were a part of the other night with Duke and A&M, where A&M looked like Houston looked in the first half, and they came storming back in the second half against the Duke Blue Devils.
Four-man front from Vanderbilt. A little outside pressure comes from Butler. They throw it that direction. Pass is caught out at the 27-yard line. A gain of 9, and it's DeMarcus Ayers, the true freshman, brought down by Stephen Clark.
Kid that just commands the football. Yeah, he is excellent once he gets his hands on it, and you just have to find out. So many weapons on this Houston offense.
Little toss underneath. It's going to Daniel Spencer. And Spencer still on his feet out over the 30 to the 32.5-yard line. Give him 6 on that carry. It'll be second down and about 4.
They move Spencer around so much. You don't know where he's coming. Speed sweeps, quick screens, slip screens, just to get the ball in his hands.
O'Korn at quarterback. 15 out of 30, 153, a touchdown and no picks. Empty set, 5 receivers. Here comes some heat. Over the middle, wide open. Dante Greenberry. Touchdown, Cougars.
Boy, double moves have been the answer for the Cougars in the second half of this ball game. They blitz, Greenberry double moves the slot defender, and O'Korn has time to find him.
Point after, up and good, and we are tied at 24. Deontay Greenberry with his 11th touchdown reception. That one travels 67 yards. And Andre, how do you get that wide open in the middle of the field?
I'm going to show you. You're going to get a blitz from right here. Now, double move, a little hitch here, and then back into the middle. And watch the protection for John O'Korn. Watch Greenberry, the hitch, and then the second move up the field. Ball is away, and now it's just a foot race to the end zone that Deontay Greenberry is going to win. Well, Vanderbilt biting on everything in the first half, jumping routes. Well, when you start jumping routes, double moves are coming sooner or later. And it's Jamel McIntosh, who was a slot defender, who was beaten by Deontay Greenberry.
24 third quarter points. 3 plays, 83 yards, less than a minute on that drive. And for Houston, that is their 15th scoring drive of the year that has gone under 60 seconds. $309 yards in the third quarter. Darius Sims from the goal line. He's tripped up at the 18-yard line. How about the third quarter for Houston?
It started with a fumble by Patton Robinette. Cougars able to cap that drive with a Kenneth Farrow touchdown run. Then a big play by Spencer. Daniel Spencer down the sideline, sets up a double move to Markeith Ambles, who does a nice job of getting his feet down. Then another double move by the big play receiver Deontay Greenberry, who gets Vanderbilt to the Cougars back to a 24-24 all-time.
Handoff left side to Kimbrough. 3 yards on the play, and that'll do it for the third quarter, and what a third quarter it was for the Houston Cougars. My goodness. Blanked in the first half with 22 yards of offense. 309 yards of offense, but the biggest number, the 24 on the big board. We're all knotted up at the BBVA Compass Bowl. Good look at downtown Birmingham off in the distance, and we're at Legion Field, where the Houston Cougars have put on a clinic here in the third quarter. 24 points on the board. You see what Houston has done with 22 yards in the first half, 309 in the third quarter alone, and things have certainly flipped. And now Vanderbilt trying to move the football and pick up a few first downs. They haven't been able to do that. And on second down and about 7, they hand it off to the right side, and only a couple of yards for Kimbrough.
Well, early downs, first and second down, the Cougars are selling out on the run, and that's become a pattern and a trend for this Vanderbilt offense, where it's run on first, run on second, throw on third and long, and then the pressure comes and gets to Patton Robinette, and he's been unable to find his best weapon in Jordan Matthews.
Neither team has been good on third downs. Vanderbilt 1 out of 13, so are the Cougars. Only one timeout left for Vanderbilt. Comes some pressure. Going up top, looking for Matthews, and it's picked off at the 45-yard line by Adrian McDonald, who stays in bounds, and he will run it all the way down to the 25-yard line. A 30-yard return for McDonald, who just picked off his 6th pass of the year.
You cannot live running the football on first and second down and forcing an inexperienced quarterback to deliver on third and long. He eyeballed Jordan Matthews the entire time, and McDonald made him pay, but it's the pressure of Derek Matthews, the middle linebacker. They bring the linebackers. He forced Robinette to get it up early, and the Cougars once again come up with a turnover.
Third turnover of the game for this Cougar defense. That is now 43 turnovers on the year, and their turnover margin at +27.
I want to check
On the field, if there was an interception and the ball is dead at the 25, the play is under review.
Well, I think it's close. I think McDonald may have stepped out of bounds. Back close. You see the foot right there, the toe right along the line. Now that may negate the return, but still that interception is going to stand.
Oh, you may have gotten it there as well. Boy, this Houston defense under David Gibbs. Interesting, David Gibbs was coaching the secondary for the Houston Texans, as we look one more time on this, and was let go of that job, was out of football for a couple of years, and just kind of hung around the Houston program and knows Tony Levine. And, well, when the defensive coordinator job came open, they said, you know what, you're here all the time, might as well go ahead and let's make you the coordinator. Where he's been a coordinator before, was coordinator at Auburn a few years back.
He's been magical in terms of what he's been able to do and forcing turnovers and teaching the kids in practice. That's really where it starts, and they really challenge the offense, and they tell them, they're yelling at them, mixing things up, that this is the way we win or lose football games. You have to hold on to the football, and so they start that takeaway stuff in practice. But David Gibbs, this unit defensively was bad a few years ago, and in a year's turnaround, since he's been the defensive coordinator, boy, they have gone from bad to pretty daggum good.
Giving up just 20 points a game. They've given up some yardage, but in terms of keeping teams out of the end zone, they are number 16 in the FBS. And one of the philosophies for Houston was he and Coach Levine said, let's cut our package in half. Let's just go ahead and reduce this. Let's let guys play fast. And that has been a great philosophy as we wait for the ruling on where to spot the ball. There is Coach Gibbs talking to Adrian McDonald, the sophomore out of Lawton, Oklahoma.
Boy, since that last Patton Robinette touchdown pass of 50 yards to Jordan Matthews, Robinette's 0 for 6. No yards and 2 touchdowns.
And
2 interceptions, I'm sorry, 2 picks.
That was back in the second quarter.
Yes. So there has been a long drought for Patton Robinette.
So they're going to check the clock. They're going to have to obviously put some seconds back on the clock. That's, I'm assuming, the delay here. Not only do you have to get the ball spotted correctly, but you have to get the clock correct, as probably 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 seconds went off the clock on that return.
You talk about the tale of 2 football games. Totally different games. First half and second halves for both these teams.
Well, here comes the decision.
After review, the player from Houston intercepted the ball, stepped out of bounds at the 41, where it would be 1st and 10, Houston's ball.
Good job by the replay officials catching that. And seeing exactly what it was we had a chance to see here in the booth.
Oh, there's Austin Carter-Samuels. That's when you'd like to have the senior right now on the field to kind of calm things down for this Vanderbilt offense, but had knee surgery right after the final regular season game against Wake Forest back in late November. Trying to keep the confidence up with Patton Robinette. You can see the looks from Robinette.
Yeah.
A little dejected on that sideline.
Don't like his body language right about now. Meanwhile, John O'Corn's body language is totally different from the first half.
He's lighting it up. 16 of 31, 220 now with 2 touchdowns. That pass is batted at the line of scrimmage. You got a hand on, I believe, Jared Morse, one of those talented defensive tackles for the Commodores.
Well, he's an excellent inside pass rusher. Couldn't get to John O'Corn and saw the arm come up. He threw those big paws up and able to get one on it. Long way to the finish line.
Come back near side. Nowhere to run for Larry McDuffie. He is wrapped up and tossed to the turf by Walker May, a loss of 4.
Well, Walker May able to get back into this game after an injury on which he limped off, and that's their answer in terms of pass rush. The best that Vanderbilt has to offer right there, wearing jersey number 90.
Third down and 13. Ryan Jackson, the running back, will move from the right to the left. O'Corn flushed out of the pocket, and he will sail it out of bounds. And now it's 4th down. Good pressure off the edge from Stephen Weatherly.
And a smart play by John O'Corn, not trying to force the ball back in the middle of the field or into coverage. You realize you got pretty good field position here. You can punt the football away and pin them deep. Telling John O'Corn, step up into the pocket where you're protected as opposed to sliding outside.
Leone's punt taken by Krause. He bobbles it. Boy, Krause was so casual coming up to make that fair catch, and it bounced off his pads. Vandy lucky to have it. Well, things have certainly changed here at the BBVA Compass Bowl from the first half. We're tied at 24 coming down the stretch. Let's take a look at the Royal Purple Focus on Performance. And for that, we highlighted at the top of the show Jordan Matthews, and he has not disappointed. He has put together some outstanding highlight plays here, specifically in the first half, where he had 5 catches. And he continues to add to his totals as the SEC's best in terms of receiving yards, receptions, and 24 touchdown catches, and 2 of those coming today. However, the only bad news is 87 hasn't been a factor at all in the second half.
Well, remember, we talked about him in the open. Clutch. And when they need him, he always seems to come through.
Gain of only a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 coming up. Steve Taylor with another tackle. That's 11.
Well, he has played one heck of a football game. Always around the football. 11 tackles, as you mentioned. 2 of those have been for a loss. And they are making a nice stop on Patton Robinette.
Vanderbilt in the second half. 4 punts, a fumble, and a pick. 3 tight ends in the game. Only receiver split out wide is Matthews to the near side. Robinette gets a couple of blocks over the 25, falls forward to the 27. He needs to get to the 28.5-yard line. That's a gain of 5.5, maybe 6. Eric Island in on that tackle for the Cougars.
Actually fell on top of Island, which gave him about another 1.5 yards on the play once he rolled over and was tapped down. One more time.
3 tight end set. They'll go the other side with it now. Robinette, I don't know if he got it. It's going to be close.
It is right on the down and distance marker. You may have to take a look at this in terms of measuring it. He got the left foot spot. I think it's good. Yeah, there's the confirmation right there.
Not by much, but they do move the chains. James Franklin on the far side. Of course, offensive coordinator before he got the head coaching job at Vanderbilt. He was at Maryland. Matter of fact, he was the coach in waiting at Maryland.
Well, I really think Maryland swung and missed when they didn't hire James Franklin and make him their head coach. Somebody down there still kicking themselves.
1st down and 10. Ball sits at the 28. Another 3 tight end look. Robinette going up top, looking for Matthews, who's there and can't hold on to it.
A great position and a great play by Zachary McMillan on the outside. Tall chore to cover Jordan Matthews, and 1 interception in this game already. Didn't bite on the double move, found the position and able to work himself back into the play and then go up as high as Jordan Matthews and knock the football away. That's excellent. That's an excellent job.
Not to mention McMillan got a little chuck in the back by Matthews as well. Create some separation, came back to make that play.
Yeah, McMillan's dad, pretty good football player, played for the Vikings for a long time.
There's Seymour out of the Wildcat formation. Breaks a tackle on his feet. Seymour in the open field. Cuts it back. Needs a block from his quarterback who whiffed, but nonetheless, Jerron Seymour down to the 34-yard line, a 38-yard pickup.
Boy, they are going to rip Patton Robinette in film study for not throwing a block for Jerron Seymour. I'll tell you what, you get an opportunity like this as a quarterback, you have to throw the block. Excellent kickout block by Stephen Shoy, the tight end. Now it's a foot race, and all I need is 1 block right there by Robinette, and he misses on the safety, Trayvon Stewart.
And Stewart, I believe, was the guy that missed the tackle up front. Yes, it was. So now Vanderbilt inside the 35, 1st down and 10. Kimbrough in the Wildcat. He'll take a snap, dancing around. Kimbrough to the 20-yard line. Move the change for the Commodores. That's 13 yards. Boy, this 3 tight end set has worked well.
Now, James Franklin stopped messing around, and he's going to turn it over to the offensive line. We're going to grind it out and take some air out of the football and just let this big offensive line have at a smaller Houston defensive front. Well, really, it's almost like more of a 3-4 defense. You look at Harris as well as Island. Those are guys that stand up, and they're only about 230 pounds.
Kimbrough in the Wildcat off the left side. Big hole to the 10, 5, touchdown.
Well, Jonathan Krause, Dave, threw a heck of a block on Trayvon Stewart on the back end of this run to free up Kimbrough.
That's big boy football right there.
Yeah, we're going to saddle in and just ride the offensive line to the end zone.
82 yards on that drive, 7 plays. 3.5 minutes off the clock. Point after attempt from the school's single season point leader, Kerry Spear. The hold from Taylor Hudson is good, and the kick is dead solid, perfect. It was set up by Seymour with a long run, capped off by Kimbrough from 12 yards away. Vanderbilt back out in front, 31-24. Part of the activities this week for these clubs, they had a chance to visit the Civil Rights Museum here in Birmingham, part of the BBVA Compass Bowl week. Houston and Vanderbilt. We thought this would be a close, exciting ball game. It hadn't exactly played out.
Well, the styles have started to play out where we thought Vanderbilt would try to establish the line of scrimmage with a running game, and Houston, of course, would throw it around the park, and we have not been disappointed, my friend.
Just didn't start out the way we thought it would with a 24-0 Vanderbilt lead. Commodores just reclaimed the lead on a 12-yard touchdown run by Kimbrough. And let's go back to that touchdown run. And as we were looking at during the break, you were highlighting a couple of really good blocks.
Yeah, if you're going to break long runs, you're going to have some good edge blocks. Watch Fitz Lassing, number 38, the fullback, out here. Then you're going to have Jonathan Krause inside and Jordan Matthews working down the field. It creates a nice running lane for Kimbrough to run through. Then it's just a foot race. Outstanding blocks on the outside by a couple of unselfish players.
There are the guys you just talked about. Krause, Matthews, Kimbrough had the touchdown. And now this Houston offense will have to keep it going. 22 yards of offense in the first half. They had 309 in the third quarter alone. They will hand it off to Kenneth Farrow. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Let's go downstairs, visit with Dawn.
Andre, you know, you had said that Coach James Franklin was handing it over to his O-line. Vandy O-line coach Herb Hand had not been happy with his group. He had told them, in order to win the game, we have to run the football. Let me tell you, he's happy with them right now.
Yeah, Herb Hand's a good offensive line coach. Known him from all the way back to his days when he was at Tulsa. And if there's a guy that can get a group fired up, it's Herb Hand.
In motion is Spencer across the formation. O'Korn will throw. It's batted in the air. Picked off. McIntosh inside the 20. And Vanderbilt back in business as O'Korn was hit as he threw it. And no flags.
Well, it's Walker May with the pressure. Watch the pressure from number 90, Walker May, right here barreling down. He gets just enough of O'Korn to where he can't step into the throw, and now it's just in the air floating around for McIntosh to come up with the interception.
I think it's McIntosh is the player that is injured. Looks like one of those big bodies just of Houston fell maybe right on top of him.
And they're going to have to replace two seniors on that back end, and Ladler and Marshall, and they've got two good young sophomores in McIntosh and Andrew Williamson that are ready to step in.
We'll step aside, try to get an update when we come back. Vanderbilt up 7. Well, they brought a card out for McIntosh, and Jamel said, no thank you, I'm going to get up and walk off this field under my own power. He's laying down the far side being attended to by the medical staff. We'll try to get an update as soon as we can. Well, it's Mac vs. Sunbelt Sunday on ESPN as Keith Winning leads the Cardinals high-flying offense against the Red Wolves in the GoDaddy Bowl. Arkansas State versus Ball State tomorrow at 9 on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN. Well, the interception has set Vanderbilt up. Chance for a little bit of separation here.
And keep an eye. Got to find Matthews. They're going to go with the Wildcat here, but he's at the top of the screen.
Seymour on the near hash gets the snap, stutter steps, trying to work that left side, nowhere to run this time. Oliphant would tackle number 8 on the game. Well, he's a good-looking player as well. When you start thinking about this Houston team, Andre, so much. I mean, you're talking, you go down the numbers, 95% of their scoring, 95% of their receptions, 98% of their completions, 95% of their tackles, 100% of their sacks. I mean, look at the numbers of what's coming back next year for this Houston team.
Well, it gives Houston fans something to look forward to, a team that finished the year 8-4, but you have all that coming back and an experienced quarterback in John O'Korn. It's going to be a heck of a year for the Cougars.
Boy, delay a game coming up here, unless Vanderbilt got the timeout. I believe they do. James Franklin saw the play clock down to 1.
They're last.
Last time out for the Commodores, up 7. Give us a chance to remind you, if you don't already know, Florida State is #1, Auburn is #2, and guess what? They're going to be in the Vizio BCS National Championship game as the Seminoles look to complete their undefeated season and claim their first title since '99, while the Tigers aim to finish their remarkable ride by raising that crystal ball. The Vizio BCS National Championship, 8 different ways across the ESPN networks, with BCS Megacast. Coverage begins Monday at 8 on ESPN. Be sure to go to ESPN.com/Megacast for all the ways that you can watch that game.
What a year it's been for both those programs. And you look at Auburn, a couple of close wins. They seem to have the mojo this year.
Robinette keeps it after the play fake, and he loses 3 yards. They've been doing that wildcat formation on their last drive. It got them a touchdown. They bring Pat Robinette back in the game, and they lose 3. And once again, Matthews and Taylor, those linebackers, making the plays.
Well, Taylor's a heck of a player. Just a redshirt freshman out of a solid program in Cedar Hill High School in Cedar Hill, Texas. 13 tackles today for Taylor.
88 on the year for the redshirt freshman. Seymour now in the Wildcat. Robinette split out wide to the near side. Seymour trying to find a little bit of daylight. Nothing there. A swarm of red jerseys will stop him after a gain of 2. And now it's 4th down and about 11. Joey Mbu led the charge.
Yeah, and James Franklin basically playing the field position game right now in terms of keeping field goal range for Corey Spear, who's hit from as long as 54 yards this year, and he's about as solid as they get. 77% on the year. He's a good one.
He has connected from 24. Kerry Spear, the senior, from the far hash mark. Out of the hold of Taylor Hudson. The snap from Andrew East. And he is solid. Splits the uprights, and a big 3 points for Vanderbilt with 6:17 to play in this one. Vandy scored 24 straight to start the game. Houston then answered back with 24 straight of their own. But now the Commodores have put 10 on the board. You look at the poised true freshman out of Fort Lauderdale, John O'Korn, about to get the football with his club down 10. He threw for 6 yards in the first half. He has thrown for 211 yards here in the second half.
Plenty of time for John O'Korn to get Houston back in this game. And you look at a 2-score game, and James Franklin knew it, which is why he didn't want to take a risk down there and turn the football over. Run it, go ahead and settle for the field goal and put them up by 10.
Spear will kick it off. It's a good kick. 5 yards deep. Ayers will bring it out. Coming near side. Got some running room to the 25, to the 30. He's to midfield. And out of bounds in Vanderbilt territory at the 40-yard line. Knocked out of bounds by the kicker, Kerry Spear. A 60-yard return.
Well, what a weapon Ayers is. Watch him hit a gear when he gets close to about the sideline and split two defenders right there. And if it's not for the angle by the kicker, he is in the end zone.
Well, he has a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown against BYU, 15th in the FBS with that 27-yard per return average.
And I like, he's right back on the field. A lot of guys that have tapped out, go to the sideline, celebrate.
O'Korn flushed out of the pocket, flag down, pass incomplete.
Yeah, maybe a holding penalty here.
Number 74, the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
And Rowdy Harper, and all of a sudden, Walker May has come to life. That's right there, the right side. There it is, right there. Kind of reaches and grabs. And it's Stephen Weatherly, their pass rush specialist on that side.
Four-man rush. O'Korn steps up in the pocket, fires over the middle, incomplete. Boy, looking for Deontay Greenberry.
And that's where they usually find Greenberry. He's not afraid to go over the middle. That's kind of his domain. Makes all the tough catches over the middle for this team.
Little quarterback draw. And he'll pick up 8. Back to the 40-yard line. He's still a couple of yards shy of the original line to make, or the original line of scrimmage, the line to make for the first downs, back at the 28-yard line.
Yeah, just hoping to pop something to where they can get in a decent down and distance here on third down to convert.
Boy, they're 1 out of 14 on third down conversions today. Looking at 3rd and 12. Here comes some pressure from Vanderbilt. O'Korn scrambles out of some trouble. Hit as he throws. Incomplete.
Dangerous pass by O'Korn. Rolling right, throwing back left. You really can't get anything on the ball when you do that, but the pressure is what forces him off his mark. Watch the pressure. Westerman first, and then Morse, followed by Weatherly. Not allowing O'Korn to sit there and survey things down the field. The constant pressure by this Vanderbilt front four.
9 pressures on O'Korn today. They're going to go for it on 4th down with 5:14 to play. Four-man rush. O'Korn going up top deep and completely overthrows his intended receiver, DeMarcus Ayers.
Took a shot down the field. Ayers was coming open, but well overthrown by the youngster O'Korn. He'll look back at that one and wish that he just put a little bit more air under the football to allow the speedy DeMarcus Ayers to run under it.
So Patton Robinette back on the field for Vanderbilt, as this has been a game of streaks. Vanderbilt led 24-0 at halftime. Houston 22 yards, 1 first down. Then they scored 24 in the 3rd quarter with 309 yards of offense. But Vanderbilt's put 10 on the board. Seymour. He gets a yard and stopped there.
You see Cougar defenders trying to rip that football out. Trayvon Stewart in there working to try to strip the ball away from Jerron Seymour. And James Franklin is content to just stay with the running game right now. I would highly doubt they're going to put the ball in the air at any point soon, and you'll see it snapped well under 10 seconds as they try to chew away at this clock.
Seymour 87 yards rushing on 18 carries. Robinette will keep it, work the left side, and he'll fall for a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down and about 5 as Ephraim Oliphant with another tackle. That's 9. Their linebackers starting to rack up some tackles for Houston. You've got Steve Taylor with 14 tackles. Matthews has 7. Oliphant has 9.
Well, not quite there yet, but it's getting to that point where Tony Levine's going to have to start spending those timeouts. He's got 3 in his back pocket, hoping to get off the field here without having to use one.
May use one if they can stop him here, as Robinette is dropped. A loss of a couple on the play. Let's see if Houston uses one of those timeouts with 3:26 to go, and they will stop the clock and forces Vanderbilt to bring out their punting team.
Well, they need a quick score. And then with the timeouts, if you're able to get the quick score without having to use the timeouts, you could play defense and really not force yourself to have to onside kick and use them to, after you get through 1st down, call them on 2nd and 3rd down, but you got to make sure you're getting stops.
Fans, be sure to tune in to ESPN3 for the post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One immediately following this game. So Colby Cook will punt it away. This will hit at the 25, scooped up by Greg Ward Jr., and he is met immediately. A 40-yard punt. Kellen Williams with the special teams tackle for the Commodores, and now a long way to go and a short time to get there for the Houston Cougars.
Well, you talked about John O'Korn, the first half of this ball game, a lot of pressure. He was hit early and often throughout the first half, and then they were able to protect a little bit here in the second half in the double moves, pump faking and then finding his receivers down the field. That one to Markeith Ambles, a big play.
O'Korn trying to set up a little bit of a screen or sliding the receiver Daniel Spencer back. But the pressure again, Andre.
Yeah, you could just tell it was coming. Kyle Westerman as well as Vince Taylor with the pressure to disrupt things, and the receiver really wasn't set up for the screen. Really wasn't ready. Daniel Spencer is kind of just getting into the route part of it.
O'Korn has misfired on 6 straight pass attempts. He'll swing it out to the far side as Ryan Jackson, who is met at the 20. Clock will continue to run. Vanderbilt kept him in bounds after a gain of 4.
Well, you need to convert here. It's pretty much 4-down territory going forward for this team, and you need some points. You need them in a hurry and need to convert right now.
4-man rush. O'Korn stands in the pocket. It's picked off. Picked off by Andre Howell. He's to the 5. They will say out of bounds at the 2.5-yard line, and there is your ball game.
Boy, he wanted Greenberry, stared it down, waited, and then Howell, who has been jumping routes all day long. Andre Howell on the afternoon, 10 tackles, a pass breakup, and then that big interception to basically seal it. You see him leak back inside in front of Greenberry. That's why you tell receivers all the time, work back to the football. If it's zone coverage, someone can step in front of you. Right there, you got to come back to the football. He waited. It allowed Howell to get his body between him and the football, and a big return.
Seymour in the Wildcat. They'll say no play, timeout taken by Houston, one of their 2. They didn't have enough, or didn't have the right
Houston,
people.
their second, 30 seconds.
You know, when we were talking to Bob Shute, the defensive coordinator this week, Andre, we talked about Andre Howell, who's been an MVP. And he says there could be a couple of guys, but he goes, I'll tell you this, Andre Howell has had 1 bad snap all year. And he stepped up and made a big interception.
Against Texas A&M, working against Mike Evans. That was the one bad play that he had all season long. But you talk about he's the best. He's this team's best cover man, and he's always making plays some way, somehow, and none bigger than that one to close out his senior year here at Vanderbilt.
Well, they're going to miss that secondary of Stephen Clark, Kenny Ladler, Devon Marshall, Andre Howell, all seniors. And they have played in 3 consecutive bowl games. Now, do you think if you told those guys when you were recruiting them 4 or 5 years ago that you'd go to 3 straight bowl games, they probably would have laughed at you? Not anymore.
James Franklin's telling them that now.
Seymour falls down to the 1-yard line.
The ones coming out of high school. This is what we've done.
Right.
And not a lot of teams around the country can boast that.
Vanderbilt is 15-4 in their last 19 football games. The only team better in the SEC over that 19-game span is Alabama. How about that? Digest that for a second.
Beat Georgia, beat Florida on the road. It was Florida's homecoming when they went down to Gainesville and beat Florida. Beat Tennessee again this year. On their way to 8-4 and going to win 9 games 2 years in a row, the first time in program history.
Hand it off to Seymour to the end zone. Touchdown, Vanderbilt. The 14th rushing touchdown for Jerron Seymour. Ties the Vanderbilt school record. Zach Stacy in 2011. Al Matthews back in '82.
What a day it's been for the running game and the combination of Seymour and Kimbrough. Kimbrough added a spark, and Seymour really kind of solidified things on the ground for this Vanderbilt team who struggled throughout the second half.
Spear knocks it through the uprights, and 1:42 to play in this one. It is now 41-24. 24 straight by Vanderbilt, then 24 straight by Houston, and now 17 in a row for the Commodores. The Cougars just ran out of gas after that explosive third quarter, and I'll give Vanderbilt a little bit of credit here. They decided to get away from throwing the football, and they went to a 3 tight end package with a Wildcat formation, and they marched it down the field, took a lot of time off the clock.
A little ground and pound and turn it over to the offensive line, and you got to credit James Franklin. The in-game adjustments that he made in this one was really the difference, and counting on those guys up front, Wesley Johnson, Jake Bernstein, Joe Townsend, Spencer Pulley, and Andrew Jelks. That offensive line of Vanderbilt, that's where it was done, and this game was put away.
I think a lot of attention will be put on James Franklin in the coming days. Every job that comes open at a major university, or heck, even in the NFL.
You know, I'm quite surprised it's taken this long. The job he's done at Vanderbilt, I mean, I don't know of a better qualified candidate, not only for any college job in the country, but any NFL job. He's got NFL experience. A lot of people want to talk to him when the season's over.
Right, spent some time with the Packers a few years back. Little pooch kick. Taken by Brooks. Well, James Franklin back in 2010, hired by David Williams, who is the athletic director, vice chancellor at Vanderbilt. And it didn't take long for James Franklin to garner some attention at SEC Media Days. He came in like a ball of fire, got your attention, but you weren't sure of what the product was going to be. It didn't take long to understand that this was going to be a team that was going to play hard, for one, be well coached too. And then I don't think we all understood what kind of recruiter he was.
Passionate football coach, James Franklin.
O'Korn scrambling. He will complete it to Daniel Spencer. That'll stop the clock with 1:22 to go. And, you know, we can't overlook, Andre, with the success of Vanderbilt, this Houston club in this bowl game after a disappointing season last year under Tony Levine in his first year. Second year, kind of gets the staff together, kind of makes some changes. Young team, and they won 8 games to get here to the.
It's all ahead of them.
Yeah.
They're a young group. We saw the graphic about what returns next year. Great percentages of what's coming back next year for this Cougar football team. So I think there are bright days ahead for Tony Levine, his staff, and this team.
They just put themselves in just too big of a hole today. Didn't come out. They weren't crisp. They weren't sharp. They hurt themselves with some ill-timed penalties. But in the third quarter, kind of got it back together, but just such a huge hole to climb out of. Was just too much today. But we're looking at the future here at quarterback. In O'Corn, who will scramble, and they will say he was in bounds. Clock will stop for a moment to move the chains.
That's a name you're going to talk about for a long time. Next couple of years, John O'Corn, he has got every ingredient you need to be a great one.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Greg Ward Jr. and how they kind of come up with some creative ways for both of those guys to play the quarterback position. Over the middle of the field, pass a little bit high, incomplete, looking for Spencer. That'll stop it with 25 seconds.
We were talking about James Franklin and the many possibilities that might happen this offseason for him. Tennessee Titans just opened up a head coach job.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even have to move. He'd be right there in Nashville.
Shock. Mike Munchak let go by the Titans. He's a lifer. O'Corn. That's incomplete. That'll bring up third down with 19 seconds to go. But there's the Gatorade bath for James Franklin. It is a cold, brisk day in Birmingham, and he may not feel it right now.
Oh, he's right in the middle of it, mixing it up with his team. 3
straight bowl games. Remember, they went to 4 bowl games in 120 years before Coach Franklin signed on in Vanderbilt in 2010. Lofted up in the end zone, incomplete.
He has no clue it's coming.
Ooh, he does now.
The cold stuff.
The cold blue stuff. I've seen that in my car, in my house with my kids. Don't give your children blue Gatorade. I learned that the hard way. O'Corn. This will be the final play of the game, perhaps. And that'll do it. As Vanderbilt accomplishes something they have never done before. Back-to-back seasons with 9 wins. And they hold off the Houston Cougars 41-24. Vanderbilt will win for the 9th time. They go to 9-4. Houston will fall to 8-5. Don't forget, coming up next on ESPN and Sports Centers, as the guys will get you caught up on the latest sports action of the day. Great win for Vanderbilt, for Andre Ware, Dawn Davenport, the rest of our exceptional crew. I'm Dave Neal saying so long from Birmingham, where the Commodores win it 41-24.